Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Court Martial Podcast. Introducing your host for this evening first. He is the host with the most from the West Coast, the Bay Area Brawler, Skylar Greenberg. And his partner, he has colonized, energized, and revolutionized the podcasting wrestling world today. Your Colonial champion, Sean McCarty. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the hottest podcast on the planet, the Court Martial Podcast, the #1 smart podcast for professional wrestling in all of YouTube. I am your Colonial champion, Sean McCarty, bringing to you today a revolution. What kind of revolution? A mediocre revolution at best. That's right, folks, AEW Revolution Review, and we've got a lot to talk about. These are always the longest videos we do, and I can't do it alone. Because with me, as always, and the only person here, as always, and the only person that will be here, as always, no matter who decides they want to join, no matter who decides that they're going to be involved until the very last second, and they decide to pull out like a guy who thinks that he's not getting that girl pregnant, like the guy who thinks that he's so special that he has to go hang out with his girlfriend so she doesn't get hit in a car accident, rather than hang out and watch and review the car accident that was AEW Revolution. I've got a man of honor. I've got a man of integrity. I've got a man who is the #1 co-host on the planet, better than all. Bryan last included. Conrad Thompson, get the hell out of here. Nobody can stack up to this man, because he is the man of the hour, the man with the power. He's too damn sweet to be sour. He's the Bay Area Brawler himself, Skylar Greenberg.
Also, I'm here.
Oh, wait, you're actually here?
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for ruining my entrance, you mother...
So they canceled at the last second.
How about
What
a bait
the
and switch? Oh, so instead of somebody who has no integrity, now we've got a bait and switcher.
Damn it.
And who better?
Ooh.
And who
Ooh.
better? Yeah. Shame. 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 Shame.
Right. That's all right. I deserve this.
Well,
You're gonna get it all review, okay, man? You're gonna get it all review.
well,
Oh boy.
Skylar, how you doing, buddy?
Thank you for that intro, and thank you, everybody, for getting us to 200 subscribers.
Yeah, buddy.
Woohoo!
We'll see you at 300. Also, one more thing. If I missed the review because I was getting it on with a woman, would you be angry with me, Sean?
Yes. No.
So
No.
what you're telling me?
Only-
What you're telling me is I need to get it on, then do the review, right?
Well, yes. Or find a way to do it mid-review. And
Never gonna happen.
then we'd really be giving people
Never.
a show.
I'm sorry, but I'm not Ric Flair. Okay.
But they ain't ready for that. We're only at 200 subscribers. When we get to a K, maybe we'll talk about an Edge and Leyla live sex celebration. But until then, we've got a pay-per-view to review, and it's a long pay-per-view.
Hold on. You gotta introduce the other guy.
And I have to start my show.
I'm pretty sure I did introduce him by degrading him mercilessly and introducing you, Sky. That's JoshAgeddon, by the way.
We're gonna start the totally awesome podcast. Welcome to TAW. My name is JoshAgeddon. This is the worst podcast ever. So bad. Tap out. We had some drama going on.
You know what? I actually got all that out of my system. I'm now... Hello, TAW Gaming. It's wonderful to see you again. I'm here, the Colonial champion, Sean McCarty. That's Skylar Greenberg. And we're going to have a nice, peaceful review.
Are we?
No, it's not going to be peaceful,
Are we?
okay? You are lying for your teeth.
I am speak only the truths in multiple words and syllables and phrases and loud noises. What did you think of AEW Revolution, Skylar?
Well, hold on. Before we even get through this, let me just say right now that this show of AEW Revolution was boring. It was boring. It was monotonous. It repeated itself over and over and over again. This show was an AEW show. And it's an AEW B pay-per-view. Because I think me and Josh, again, were talking about it. Revolution is so generic a name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what's the revolution? What's the revolution?
Cody Rhodes is the revolution.
Well, Cody
he
Rhodes
gone.
isn't here anymore.
That's
the
right.
WWE 13 menu screen.
So it's,
Whoa, revolution! Whoa. You know that song?
Whatever.
that's right. So, but I agree with you, Sky. I agree with you, Sky. Awkward silences at all. No, this show, I wanted to like this show. I really did. And as usual, there is a good show buried underneath so much filler. That's always what AEW is. It's their format, and they need to come to terms with it. And they need to have some sort of reckoning with it. I'll talk about it a little bit later, because there's no reason, buy-in included, that this show should be 5 hours long.
Yeah, I agree.
JoshAgeddon, your thoughts?
Okay, I am the perpetual and perennial AEW defender of the crew. Some may even call me an AEW apologist, but
you are.
Okay, real quick, I do think that me being the AEW apologist and Skylar being the alleged WWE apologist, I don't know how to feel about that because, I mean, at the end of the day, aren't we just being honest?
And I'm your host, the middleman Colonial champion, Sean McCarty.
Yeah, John's usually in the middle.
Yep. That's right. It's where I like it.
I love being the bottom boy, but...
Well,
anyway, as the guy who defends AEW more often than not, I also thought this show was kind of a letdown.
well, we've got a lot to go
Having said
through.
that, you're probably still going to give a higher score than me or Sean.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I as you said, Skylar, this is AEW's B show. Like, All Out always, All In always feels special. Double or Nothing always feels special. Full Gear always feels special. We've had 3 Revolutions now, and it always just feels there. This is like AEW's Backlash or Unforgiven or just some B pay-per-view where there's not really a gimmick and it's just there, and it's plot progression, kind of.
And sadly, this was kind of the best one they've done up to this point, at least in my opinion. And that's kind of sad.
I'm not even going to lie. I liked last year's AEW Revolution more than this one.
Yeah.
Unironically.
Well, let's
Unironically, while laughing at the stupid goddamn sparklers.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Never forget. So,
Never forget.
Josh, again, I'm going to go on a wild limb here and say that you did not watch the buy-in.
What did we talk about you peeking, Sean?
Okay, so I am correct that you did not, in fact, watch the buy-in.
No, I did not.
Shower cameras notwithstanding, Skylar, did you watch the buy-in?
Well, I wasn't going to until you told me that I have to watch the buy-in, so I'm like, okay, fine, I'll watch the buy-in.
Well, there was one thing on it that was worth going through. So, Josh, again, if you don't mind just being something of the reactor here while Skylar and I go through these 3 matches.
Real quick, Skylar saying Sean forced me to do this makes me think, because I've been watching old Raws. You are JBL, and Skylar is Shawn Michaels. You're just forcing him to.
Well, that means I'm going to be quitting the podcast here in about a month and change.
The thing is,
from the Intercontinental title.
The thing about it is I'm not being paid for this, okay? So, whatever.
Also,
That's right.
Just saying, I've seen so many Raws from 2009, like over the past month or so, because I've been binge watching them. Just about every single one of them was better than the pay-per-view we watched here tonight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would not disagree with that. But we kick things off with a women's match. It is Leyla Hirsch, legit Leyla Hirsch, versus the alien Kris Statlander. Skylar, what were your thoughts on this matchup?
Awkward.
That's a really good word for it. That's a really good word for it.
These 2 women, oh my god, they were so sloppy the entire match. They were doing moves that I don't think they knew how to do. And
no.
Sometimes they would hit, and sometimes they would hit not.
Yeah.
It was just, ooh.
Yeah, this was definitely a clash of styles between 2 green women who have no chemistry. And did we get a collar and elbow tie-up in this matchup?
I don't remember.
No, we did not. Because why would we? both of these women have potential, but I don't hate Leyla Hirsch, but I did notice that if she's I like her like thunder thighs like appearance, but she could barely get her arm onto the top rope when she goes to hit the ropes. Did you notice that?
Oh.
She could barely get up to the top.
John, you got John Laurinaitis.
What? I got John Laurinaitis. Maybe you got John Laurinaitis.
You did on my end.
No.
Her arms can't even scratch my dick. That's what it sounded like.
That was intentional.
No, that happens every single show.
Yeah.
Yeah, Leyla Hirsch does not know how to hit the ropes, but she doesn't know how to do a lot of things.
Yeah, and it's honestly the thing that struck me the most about this is that these women need guidance. They need somebody to teach them how to structure a match.
Oh, and this theme will continue with another women's match that happened later.
Yes, absolutely, and I mentioned it then as well. The crowd did not know who to cheer or boo. This was a very odd dynamic. Kris Statlander coming out with the best friends. Thank God they just left afterwards.
Well, isn't Leyla Hirsch part of Dr. Britt Baker's group?
No, she is separate because it's Reba and Jamie Hayter.
Oh yeah, you're right. Well, God damn it, there's too many women on the show.
Yeah, wow, that's something I never thought I'd hear you say, Sky.
Wow, Skylar.
No, hold on, Sean. Let me ask you a question, okay? With Leyla Hirsch in particular, did you notice her ring gear?
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of Kevin Owens a little bit.
No, well, yes, but did you notice the colors?
I remember the white. That's all I remember.
They were the colors of the Russian flag, if you look very closely.
Oh my, cringe. That's a little cringe.
Now, here's the thing. She was doing this gimmick of a Russian girl or something before what's going on in Russia and Ukraine, right? And I understand what they were doing, but the part of me is like, if they were doing the gimmick, stop doing it. Like, you can acknowledge your Russian past, but don't make it so overt. And here, I got a passage. I'm going to read this, okay?
Go for it.
This is from Leyla Hirsch issuing a statement after the buy-in. I wanted to make something very clear. I stand with Ukraine 100%, and my heart breaks for its citizens who are suffering at the hands of Vladimir Putin. I was born in Russia. I came to the U.S. at 8 years old and became an American citizen. I cannot change my heritage any more than any other citizen can change theirs. The mere fact that I was born in Russia does not mean that I support this brutal dictator. Everyone who would even suggest such a thing is simply wrong, plain and simple.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing. I understand ring gear is expensive, and you have a choice from ring gear, and if you want to wear it, you want to wear it. This is one of those times where you don't fucking wear it.
Yeah, like
you idiots.
You can say you're sorry all you want to, and all you need to do is just wear some other gear.
I didn't even notice because I was focusing on their shitty wrestling. Admittedly, like I don't disagree with what you're saying, Sky. I just did not notice, so I don't really. I mean, I just didn't really have a vested like. I didn't get incensed. I did get incensed at their sloppy ass hockey fight. And
but that's your favorite Sean spot. There, it's on every. That's on every show though.
It was in almost every match. We had
one of the commentators, I think Excalibur even said, "Oh, a hockey fight" during the show at one point.
JR said hockey fight.
Oh, that's worse.
Yeah, no, it was a sloppy hockey fight. There was then there was a comeback by Kris Statlander, who's the baby face in this situation, quote unquote. And did you notice that Leyla Hirsch was over anticipating the clothesline bumps?
Yes.
So
she was doing it. She was way too much in like, okay, I need to be in this spot for this position.
Yeah, she was taking the bump before Statlander got to her chest. And it was very obvious. And then I don't know what, did you hear Leyla Hirsch say fuck right into the middle of the camera?
I did.
Yep.
Now here's the thing. This buy-in, because I selectively listened to the show, so a lot of it I didn't hear things because I was on mute because I was not going to listen to Excalibur.
I don't blame you. Although honestly, he was on his best behavior tonight. It was not the worst
No.
Excalibur I've ever heard.
No, Sean.
Listen,
You are wrong.
I have many assertions and asides about that comment.
I'm not saying that he was good. I'm just saying that it was his best behavior.
That is
No.
disgusting.
And here's the thing. In order to keep up with what was happening, I read it with closed captions.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Leyla Hirsch on screen, closed captions says "fuck" in all caps.
Well,
I mean, I heard that part because I was listening because I wanted to listen to Taz.
yeah, because Tez was great. Did you notice in the then we get to this apron Rana bump?
Oh.
Skylar, do you want to explain what happened here?
I'm scared.
Okay, hold on. Are we talking about the Rana bump or like the attempt to try and do a tombstone on the apron?
Oh, no. It was the tombs. It was like to get into tombstone, and then they didn't actually do the tombstone. Thank God.
Yeah. Basically, what happens is that Leyla Hirsch gets picked up by Kris Statlander to attempt the tombstone, and then Kris Statlander just drops Leyla Hirsch because she couldn't pick her up. And then Leyla Hirsch, in order to make up for it, takes advantage and does like this weird-ass Hurricane Rana spot, which looks very slow.
I don't know what happened. It either Kris Statlander didn't know how to take the bump because her back landed basically right on Layla's legs, or Leyla didn't know how to fuck off and get out of Kris Statlander's way to take that bump. I don't know whose fault it was. Might have been both.
It was both because Kris Statlander, I think what they were trying to do was that they were trying to do the tombstone into the Hurricane Rana.
Right.
Which, if that's the case,
Stupid.
that is a very dangerous spot for two green women to do.
And also, not a move to be doing on the first match of the buy-in.
I heard the words tombstone pile driver and immediately lost interest because we had like 800 of them on the show tonight.
Oh, that's not the only move that would be killed on this evening. There was quite a lot of.
Now, real quick, I will say my aside about these two. I'm over Kris Statlander a little bit.
Me too.
I mean, I thought she was decent at first, but I just don't care. Leyla Hirsch, I still really like because I think she's very young, and she can throw a mean German suplex, and I think that she has a lot of potential. But like you said, she needs guidance.
They both do. At least there wasn't a boop this time. There was no boopage.
No booping.
So, progress.
In 2022, the best thing we can say about wrestling is there was no booping.
No, but there was a makeout.
Yeah, but we'll get to that because there were two of them, and it was great. And
No.
My water
The thing about it is that
on my nose.
I'm hoping that AEW turns Ring of Honor into a developmental and sends half of the fucking roster over there.
Well,
Yeah.
Tony's now booking Ring of Honor, so
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay,
Five shows this guy's booking now. When is this guy gonna just
Add
snap?
another gram of cocaine to the list.
Hold on. Let me get this straight, okay? So we got Dynamite.
Yep.
We have Dark.
Yep.
We have Elevation.
Yep.
We have Ring of Honor.
Yep.
We have the football team in England.
Yep.
And the football team in America.
Yep.
He's
And
booking
Rampage.
6 different things.
And Rampage.
No. Oh, God.
Yeah. And this guy, man,
So
This dude's head's gonna explode.
to quote the great Rick James, cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah. Yeah.
This-
By the way, I saw like a snippet of an interview with him and CM Punk. His face is just terrifying, honestly. Like his eyes darting everywhere, the smile that never changes.
he should not be on television.
He's a creepy looking dude who
Yeah.
looks like he's about to. He looks like he's constantly like right about to have a nervous breakdown, but never actually having the nervous breakdown.
I mean, Tony Schiavone really needs that Bray Wyatt gimmick that you have from SWCG.
Oh, wait a second. Hold up. What?
Oh, we'll get to the children. Don't worry about that. We'll get to the goddamn children.
Anyways, they do this weird fucking angle for a fuck finish, and I just didn't care.
They did a fuck finish with. So there were a couple more things in this. First of all, if Leyla was a heel, I would have liked her to act like it a little bit more. But again, I know I'm asking a lot here. The most heelish thing that happened was when Kris Statlander had a body scissors and was slapping the back of legit Leyla Hirsch's head. That's the baby face, by the way. Fun facts.
I've had about enough of them tired old tropes there, Sean.
I know.
That guy isn't even here anymore. Shut the fuck up.
I know. And
his spirit remains, his essence.
Then they do this really cool reverse electric chair. That should have been the finish, and of course it wasn't. And but then then we get this heel finish with the turnbuckle. We just have a random turnbuckle just laying underneath the ring that she used to win. It didn't go long. It wasn't too long, but it really could have used some structure. It wasn't the worst thing on the show, but it certainly wasn't the best. But this might do it. Because this might be the best thing on the show. Up next, it's QT Marshall versus Hook.
Okay. Hook is quickly becoming one of my favorites in AEW. Not even going to lie.
They're doing good things by this kid. Probably because Taz has a lot to do with it and is not going to let Hook just get destroyed by Tony's booking.
Yeah.
This match was short. This match had a story. QT Marshall, this was probably the best QT Marshall match I've ever seen just because he got beat to shit very quickly, but he got heel heat. This was just a display of what Hook is able to do. It was structured well. The only issue I had with it is that it was a quick tap. It was a little too quick a tap. It was almost like he tapped before it got the hold on. But other than that, this was a great piece of business. We got like half a collar and elbow tie up because QT Marshall went for it, but Hook picked the leg anyway, picked the leg and then started doing some technical stuff. But this was entertaining. This was exciting. It got the crowd into it. The crowd is in love with Hook.
Oh, yeah.
He needs better ring gear, though. Hook looks like a very poor kid who has to wear these really, really dirty boxing shorts.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not going to lie. I kind of dig it. I kind of dig it, honestly.
It's a starting out look.
If it wasn't puke green.
Yeah, maybe just a bad choice on this particular night. Because he had like these turquoise ones that were cool. But this was not the best color. Especially because he's already kind of bronzed. So
if he wore any other color, it would have been fine. Just he wore puke green boxing shorts. But
the fact that is the only complaint that we have about an AEW match. Is wear different color trunks.
I can't get over his hair.
Yeah, his hair is amazing. Now, here's the thing. Leyla Hirsch and Kris Statlander.
Thank you, Skylar.
Leyla Hirsch and Kris Statlander are awkward AF. Hook is anything but. He looks natural when he's wrestling.
Yeah.
He looks very smooth. He's very much developing because he's an amateur wrestler. He was wrestling in college.
Yep.
He has that shooter background, so he can really rely on that.
Yep.
He looks like unlike a lot of people in AEW and by extension WWE, he looks serious.
Yeah.
Like he's here to fuck someone up and win.
They're taking their time with Hook. They're not hot-shotting the way that Tony Khan hot-shots literally everybody else. And I love the slow burn we're getting. Keep it up, AEW. This is one of those few things where you're on track with something. Please do not fuck this up.
The only thing I would say is that he's 22 years old. I would say wait a year or two before you're really going to do anything with him.
Yeah.
Because as good as Hook is, he's still very small. He needs to bulk out a little bit more.
And right now we're seeing basically, they're going on a little bit longer than Goldberg matches, but we're not seeing 20-minute classics with Hook, probably for a reason. And that's good, because perception is everything. And speaking of things that look dumb as fuck, we get to our final buy-in match. It's the House of Black, Buddy Murphy, Aleister Black, and King Flablablab against Pac, Penta, and Erik Redbeard. Skylar, what'd you think about this match?
On a show with so many six-man tags, I did with this one need to be here.
Yeah, you know what? I would add on top of that and say I would have substituted any of the other 6-man tags on this show for this 6-man tag and have been more satisfied. If of all the 6-man matches we saw over the course of this night, this was probably my favorite.
I still feel like that's not exactly high praise, though.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not
It's
because
not.
Again, they went 17 minutes.
Jesus Christ!
They did not
Why
need to
would you go so long on a buy-in / pre-show match?
Like, here's the thing. Leyla Hirsch and Kris Statlander went 10 minutes, which is but it's 10 minutes. It's not terrible. Hook and QT only went 5 minutes, and because it was so short, it was great. These guys went forever.
AEW.
I'm really tired of Penta. He's the person who changes his name or changes his look the most without actually changing anything about how he wrestles, and it's annoying as hell.
Yeah, he was Penta Oscuro this time, or as I call them, Penta Obscuro, because nobody knows what the fuck he's talking about.
AEW.
And
No, not every
AEW.
match needs to be 13 years long.
no, that's Penta specifically coming up with that stuff.
It's Penta. It's Penta being like, I want to change my name every other day.
Yeah. The House of Black is literally the Wyatt family, but they evolved from sheep to deer.
Accurate.
That's literally it. It's the stag party that forgot to pay the electric bill. Because everything is just, lights are out. Lights come back on. Deer. Lights come out. Lights come back on. Deer in the headlights. And then they take the masks off and all that jazz. Alex Abrahantes got his very best. He looked like his mom got him the Darth Maul outfit from Dollar Tree.
He so wanted to dress up like Darth Maul.
It literally was, but it's like we have Darth Maul at home, and there it was.
Yeah.
Did we get a collar and elbow tie-up in this match?
I doubt it.
Good guess. So I counted just the pre-show for collar and elbow, so we'll reset the counter at the main show. We got 0.5 out of 3 collar and elbow tie-ups for the buy-in. Amazing. But there were some good things about this match. The first 7 minutes, I liked. 7 to 10, I liked. Because it just, once it got to be, the comeback happened, and then we just kept going, then I lost interest. Once it devolved into a spot fest, as always, I lost interest.
I mean, you always say it. Whenever someone does a comeback in a tag match, you have to go home in the next 2 or 3 minutes, or you're going to lose the crowd.
Your clock is
you're
ticking.
You're going to lose the energy.
Yeah. Yeah. This was, I did really like the, when Penta comes in and he's in the middle with Buddy Matthews, right? And they get into a little bit of an exchange. He knocks Buddy out of the ring, and Penta's about to go for a dive. He turns around to hit the ropes, and Buddy has come back in and just dead stared him in a crawl position. That was cool. I did like Buddy Matthews in this match because he was stiff, he was hard. Some of his stuff looked devastating. He looked good. The Erik Redbeard and Brody King tattooed titty bump fight I could have done without.
Okay.
Who the hell is Brody King, and why the hell does he exist?
He is King Flash. He's literally, it's like someone took Aleister Black and attached him to a helium machine, and he just like inflated like. The only thing is he ain't floating.
That description is amazing.
So, and I know you understand that because they have those big ass fucking pumps at Dollar Tree where you have to blow up those goddamn birthday balloons.
Oh, God. I used to work at Dollar Tree, and they also have that at Dollar General, but ours, thank God, ours is always broken. So I always get a kick out of telling customers we have no helium and laughing at them when they get disappointed.
Yeah.
And speaking of being disappointed, I feel like the one person I feel bad for is Pac, because Pac actually looks in shape and just like, you're so much better than this. You don't need to be involved in this type of match.
I barely
Why has
saw any of
AEW
Pac in this
done
match.
Nothing with this man. AEW has done literally nothing with Pac.
I think, and this is starting to become a thing I've noticed, everyone who leaves WWE and comes to AEW, unless you are of a certain level, you're not going to get what you want, and you're going to be booked in miscellaneous feuds or storylines that don't mean anything.
Well, I think that's part of it, but I also think in Pac's case, him not being able to come because of COVID during those first couple of years really derailed his momentum. So not having him around for a while and then coming back made him really less significant when he did come back. And that was...
But even beyond that, though, Pac is not an interesting promo. He's a great in-ring, but he does not have a promo to save his life.
Yeah. And I remember, and I wish Alex Abrahantes was able to actually do something for that, but this, they called the Death Triangle because everything they're involved in is the stench of grisly death. And the referee distraction, they did some distractions, should have gotten the heat, and but nobody knows what the House of Black is supposed to be. It's
kind of like the Dark Order.
Yeah. It's kind of like the Dark Order and the Wyatt family came together and with zero backstory. And
I mean, there's a backstory if you watch Dynamite, but again,
I'm good.
The backstory came during a feud with Cody Rhodes, so
yeah. And then we get a pre-show destroyer because, of course, we do.
There was a destroyer on the pre-show.
Yeah,
of course, of course there was. And then, did you see the blind slingshot tag botch?
Well, yes, but describe it.
So, I forget which one of them it was, but one of them goes to slingshot. I think it was Alistair. I think it was Malachi Black trying to bring not Redbeard, but I think it might have actually been Pac. Slingshot into the ropes to get to the tag, and he went for the tag to actually like get it blind, but instead of actually like hitting over, Penta's arm was like, Eric Redbeard's arm was like down near his chest, and Penta went way over him, so he ended up like tagging his titty. And it was just like a major whiff. And then Redbeard comes in, and they do this, and then we get another botch because it was Buddy Matthews. Because Buddy Matthews then hits the ropes, and they do another blind tag, this time for Malachi. And this, I don't know whether did you see this guy, where Buddy goes to reach his hand out as he's hitting the ropes to get ready for the blind tag to touch the hand, and Malachi Black tags the shoulder anyway.
Shame upon the people.
Shame. It was like, I'm like, oh, come on. He set you up for it. That might be the first time I've ever seen somebody just deliberately backslap when somebody is offered an actual blind tag. And then this just devolved. And then everyone was on all fours like they're about to kiss like cats do.
This show was very sexual in a weird way. I don't know why.
Yeah. It's Marvin Gaye, sponsored by Marvin Gaye, AEW Revolution, sexual healing. And, but I have one of my favorite things about this match. Buddy's curb stomp. Should be the only curb stomp done by anyone ever.
Even Dr. Britt Baker?
I mean, especially Dr. Britt Baker. Especially Dr. Britt Baker. I never want to see her do a curb stomp ever again.
We'll get to that.
But Buddy literally wrenched the arms back, took the foot, put it on, I think it was Penta's head, went 1, 2, wham! And just like full force put his foot into the back, into the head, into the mat. It looked like it literally killed him.
But did that get a 2 count?
I don't think he even got to the pin.
Exactly.
I think he got interrupted.
Why would he?
Package pile driver on the apron because no, they cannot resist doing an apron spot in every match.
They can't resist doing a pile driver spot on the apron.
Yeah, they can't resist doing pile drivers in every match too. And then, after I thought it couldn't go on any longer, we get the finish where they get a black mass on this, although it didn't hit, so it looked like black ass. But not the kind of black ass I like. But it just
Alright.
but it just looked like moving on, it just looked like badass. And then the whole premise of this was that Erik Redbeard was supposed to be the big difference maker and the one who's going to be the game changer of the team that evens the odds, and they pin him.
And he gets pinned.
We're just not on Tony's level. Clearly, we're just down here, and he's just up there running.
Do you remember how back in 2014 when they were doing Team Cena versus the Authority, and they spent so much time hyping up Ryback being in that match?
God damn it, Josh! Again, I was thinking the exact same thing.
Immediately eliminated him.
God damn it, Josh! Again, I was thinking exactly the same thing. How'd you read my mind?
Because we've been doing this for way too long.
Yeah. And then, just to put a little icing on the cake, and also to retract the statement I said earlier, right at the very end, Excalibur said, and Eric Rowan got pinned.
Of course.
Again. Commentator of the year, 2 times.
2 years in a row.
What universe?
In the AEW universe.
In Dave Meltzer's universe.
In ours. This is why we live in the worst timeline.
Well, you hate to see it.
Yet.
But we haven't even gotten started. So shall we start the show?
Can I just say that I already knew this was not going to go well? 10 seconds into the show, JR's like, it's Saturday night, you know what that means. We're coming to you live from... Tony, where are we?
Wait, hold on. Is it... First off, wasn't the show on a Sunday?
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. Sure was.
Secondly, you were in Orlando, Florida. You should know where the hell you're going.
JR.
10 seconds into the show, and the first voice we hear does not know where they are.
JR, I love you, but you got to figure out something else to do with this company.
Jesus Christ. Also, real quick, again, I'm the AEW apologist here. I am so sick of every show starting with, and you know what that means. I get it. You're doing a tribute to Brody Lee. That's fine. But every single show starts off this way. It's old. It's cringe. And I hate it. Stop opening the show with that line.
Well, JoshAgeddon, because you've been silent for the matches this whole thing, we're going to let you lead off with the first match. And we're at the first match, and you know what that means.
Yeah.
It's time to tell us what you think.
Judas in my heart.
God. Speaking of things that are fucking cringe, also stop showing the fat, disgusting fans in the audience singing Judas terribly. I'm so sick and tired of looking at and listening to these fucking geeks in the audience move their mouths in the same, like, the mouths and the lip flaps are in the same, like, the same rhythm of the song, but it's nails on a chalkboard.
Oh,
nails on a chalkboard.
Let me counter that, JoshAgeddon, by saying there is nothing more satisfying than watching them pan to people who don't know the lyrics. They're trying, but they're like,
These people, they sound like nails on a chalkboard, and they even look like nails on a chalkboard. That doesn't even make sense, but that's how I feel.
Well,
I hate these people.
It's
So already it's a three hit knockout to start the show. JR doesn't know where we live. JR starts off with a line we hear every single night, and we have the audience singing terribly. So already I'm like, this is not off to a good start. And then Eddie Kingston just saunters in and suplexes Jericho on the top of his head.
So saunter's not the word. He marched like he was ready to go.
He burst through like the freaking Kool-Aid Man, not like Otis, but like actually like about to murder someone. And then he actually tried to murder Chris Jericho, and it was fucking awesome.
Yeah. Skylar, your thoughts on this matchup as a whole before we really get deep diving into it.
This was a match that was better than it had any right to be.
Yes.
And it's not because of Chris Jericho. I mean, he tried and he held up his part, but we all know the real reason why this match was good.
Because of Eddie.
Eddie.
Mo fucking Kingston.
Because of Terry Funk.
Yeah.
The modern day Terry Funk, Eddie Kingston. This didn't need a collar and elbow tie-up. Didn't need it. Wasn't even going to fault him for it. Because as soon as Kingston started, like, marching his ass down there, I'm like, oh, shit, it's on. And I cannot remember the last time that somebody has made me immediately be like, oh, snap. In professional wrestling, it's been a long time since somebody has looked ready to fight from the get-go.
It was great.
Well, the answer would be the last time that Eddie Kingston wrestled against CM Punk.
Yeah. Because Kingston's always like that. And Kingston is easily, like, top 3 of my favorite people in AEW. Like, everything he does, every match he's had, yeah, he works his specific style of match. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I always believe in what Eddie Kingston's doing.
But that's the thing, is that this was an Eddie Kingston style match more than it was a Jericho style match, and I'm all the thankful.
Thank God. But I will say this, to Jericho's defense, he did look a lot more toned than he was. He must have heard our consistent berating of him.
we bullied him into losing weight.
Good.
Having said that, Chris Jericho is so fat, the Lion Salt should be renamed the Cannon Bomb.
We'll get AEW's legal team on that. We definitely will. And but this match, here's the thing. The first 60 seconds of this match I loved. The last 60 seconds of this match I loved. The middle was okay.
It never matched the tone of the beginning and end.
Yeah,
Let me just say one of my favorite moments of this match didn't even involve Jericho or Eddie Kingston. I'm starting to really love Aubrey Edwards. Did you notice, like, someone had someone in a rest hold and Aubrey Edwards' shoe got untied? And she was simultaneously asking them, do you want to give up, while tying her shoe without even looking at her shoe. And it was so fast. And it was hilarious, but I just was like, referee of the fucking year right there.
Again, she's the best referee that AEW has.
She's the best referee in wrestling right now.
No. That's Charles Robinson.
She won me over with the no look. I'm going to tie my shoe and still pay attention to what's going on in the ring.
I'm sorry, but you cannot take Charles Robinson when he runs to the ring and he's flapping his arms like he's about to fly like a chicken.
Well, when the companies don't bury their referees, I like them. Unfortunately, the booking half the time buries the referees, both Charles Robinson and Aubrey. So, thankfully, that didn't happen here. They do a chop, back and forth. Chris Jericho sells Kingston chops. Kingston doesn't. Brilliant. Loved that.
And by the way, that apron suplex, like when Eddie Kingston suplexed Jericho off the apron, that looked brutal, and the sound it made, that was more brutal than any other hardcore spot or bump we saw for the rest of the night.
Yep.
It's only too bad that we saw 3 other apron spots by this point.
Well, I didn't, because I didn't watch the fucking buy-in.
Well, yeah, 2 of them happened in one match, which was that 6-man. But then Kingston straps goes down and the cheers go up. This guy is over. But
the only thing about this match is that they would have kept the straps up.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah. There's a reason Kingston does not wrestle shirtless.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And it works. That physique works for him, right? Because he's the mechanic down the street who will kick the teetotal shit out of you if you say something cross, right? That works for him. But there's a reason that he covers most of that up.
And I thought he did a really good job selling his eye injury during the match as well.
Yes. Between all of his stagger sells, and my only problem is that Eddie Kingston looked like he's actually punching Jericho. Jericho's strikes were slow and ineffective. I mean, that's just Chris Jericho at this point, right?
Yeah.
And then Tony Schiavone gets into this, well, he was there Chris Jericho in 1996 in another company, and I was there for it, and for his first few matches, and JR's like, yeah, there was this thing called Smoky Mountain, and
they didn't mention it, did they?
JR not giving a shit anymore.
And he just let it go, I don't think he went any further than that, but I caught that, JR. I caught that you just subtly shit on Tony Schiavone. I got it. I got you.
Now, I will say there were two things in this match I didn't particularly care for. One, I don't need Jericho arguing and shoving a referee in every match that he's in.
True.
And I also don't need the turnbuckle being removed the first match of the night.
Which they didn't use.
Well, actually, they did. It's just the way they used it was stupid. He tried to do the Judas effect, but Eddie Kingston moved out of the way. But Jericho, because he's, old man, fat Jericho, he tried to elbow the metal turnbuckle, but he kind of whiffed it. And so it's like, oh, my elbow! But it did...
I didn't even register with me. I just figured they just didn't use it.
It registered with me, but I was immediately like, what a stupid idea for a spot.
Yeah.
Why I Judas effect the turnbuckle? That's stupid.
Yeah. But, I mean, considering what happened shortly thereafter, here's my only complaint about this match, and then we'll talk about the finish. I didn't love the format of this match, because even though this was huge for Eddie, this whole thing was for Eddie, this match still felt like it was made only to make Jericho look like he can do all the popular people shit.
I mean, Jericho has to get his booking in.
I know. I'm picking at nits there. It just felt like, even though this was to get Kingston over, it still felt like this was about Jericho. And it shouldn't be. And it shouldn't have been, especially given how this finish went.
Yeah.
So, this finish is after this missed Judas effect, after Jericho's already taken a back fist, he misses the Judas effect, 3 more back fists that rock Jericho down, and then I forget the name of this move that Kingston put on Jericho. Where this arm, he wrenches the arm, he wrenches the neck with his legs, he stepped over him. Tell me that this is not the modern version of Terry Funk's step over toe hold.
Yeah, pretty much,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
3 wrenches, Jericho taps, the people go bananas, and I loved it. I loved this finish. They did something super simple as the afters. Jericho just doesn't want to shake the hand, which he tapped out, so I don't know why he would. Because he
heel, so.
Yeah, but this was like pretty much confirming the heel turn for Jericho, which they hadn't really done.
Eddie needed this win.
Yes.
Because the last couple pay-per-views, he's looked great, but he lost. He needed this win.
Yeah.
So bad, and they gave it to him, and that was great.
Yeah. I really...
Can you imagine if they had him lose to Jericho?
Yes.
That would have sucked.
Yes.
Well, having said that, have you both heard what happened on Dynamite?
Oh, no. Did he immediately lose?
Who'd he lose to?
No. Let me go ahead and begin this, okay? So Jericho comes out to the ring. He does a promo about not shaking Kingston's hand and feeling sorry. So we ask Kingston to come out. Kingston comes out, talks about his support, talks about how much he loved Jericho when he was growing up and really does appreciate everything that he did for him. So they shake hands. Then 2.0 and Daniel Garcia arrive, and they attack Jericho and Kingston. And then here comes Santana Ortiz to save everybody. And Santana Ortiz save everybody, and everything's going good. And then Jericho attacks Santana Ortiz with 2.0 and Daniel Garcia, and they start destroying them and Kingston. And Chris Jericho starts a new stable. He has dubbed the Chris Jericho Appreciation Society.
I just figured he just...
consisting of Chris Jericho, 2.0, Daniel Garcia, and Jake Hager.
They should have just called this the Outer Circle, because these are all people that are on the periphery of this company that mean absolutely nothing.
I have one word. What?
By the way, do you want to know what how they finished this angle? They put Eddie Kingston through a table, because
Oh,
because they have to.
We'll have plenty of tables on this show. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah.
Now...
Well, they did on Dynamite. But now, here's the thing, okay? It's clear that they're going to continue this, and Jericho will get his victory back.
Yeah.
Let's enjoy this for the moment, though.
But fairly, at this point, I don't know if that even matters. Because realistically, this was on one of their 4 pay-per-view. It obviously was very well received by the fans and by critics alike, considering that we all somewhat liked this match. And I think that this did Eddie, I think, got more over on this show than anybody else got over on this show.
Yeah, but Chris Jericho is so fat, he has eaten Eddie Kingston's push.
Well, or he's getting ready to. He's just sharpening the knife and he's getting the fork out of his back pocket. But speaking of things to eat, speaking of eating things instead of enjoying professional wrestling, which is what I'm about to do, we've got a triple threat tag team title match.
Oh boy, here we go.
It is the Young Bucks versus... I actually put down Wrestling's Finest, but they're not on this show. They're not on AEW.
If you're not subscribed to the Court Martial Podcast, you're not going to get that.
That's right. Because Wrestling's Finest is on ACPW and they're actually used properly. Instead, we get ReDragon, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, and the tag champions of Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. What did you think?
Who do you want to go first?
Both of you at the same time. Coordinated.
Okay, on three, Skylar. 1, 2, 3. I enjoyed
Ass.
this just a little long.
That went so well. That was amazing. One of them was like, this was okay. And the other one, ass.
Ass.
No, this, yeah.
Okay. Let me be more specific, okay? Because Cody Rhodes has fucked off to Entertainment Land, supposedly, and Kenny Omega is currently on the shelf, the Young Bucks and Adam Cole currently have the most annoying when it comes to self-booking.
Yeah. Well, at least the way that they structure their matches.
No. And the whole, we're fighting with each other, but we should be friends, but we're fighting with each other, but we should be friends. God damn it, the Young Bucks watch too much High School Musical.
That's because they never evolved past high school.
Why is it that every single time the Young Bucks storyline revolves around, I want to be friends with you, but I also want to beat you because I want to win the titles, but I want to be friends with you, but you hurt my feelings, and everything goes on. It's just,
They're the worst.
They were upset they never got that part in the High School Musical drama class as shows.
I'm not going to lie. I kind of enjoyed the story until they started fighting each other. If they kept this just the 4 heels against the 2 baby faces and Young Bucks and ReDragon, they kind of hinted at them breaking up and fighting each other, but the baby faces just overcame the odds. That would have been better.
Sure.
But yeah, once they started fighting each other, then I was like, okay, this is something I've seen before. But me personally, yeah, they did every move under the sun in this match. One thing that really got on my nerves was basically the springboard Canadian Destroyer on Luchasaurus that he immediately no-sold. That got on my nerves.
Must have missed that.
I didn't care.
He might have blacked out from rage.
No, hold on, Sean, be honest. How much of this match did you fast forward?
Only about 7 minutes out of 19.
Okay, I will say there was one thing in this match that made my jaw drop. Jungle Boy's top rope Hurricane Rana on one Buck right into a German suplex on the other Young Buck in one motion. That was fantastic. I loved that. Because it was insanely athletic and it was perfectly timed. That was great.
But
they also did a trillion moves, and I was like, okay, they're doing a lot of stuff, and now the match is starting to go a little long, and you can take it home now. But I will say, through all of that, I'm glad that they gave Jurassic Express the clean win. They did, even though you may not have liked the match, they still put him over.
Did they though?
Yeah.
Did they?
Well, they may have been put over, but they didn't get any more over.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, they didn't lose the titles. They pinned the Young Bucks with, and I really liked the back suplex into the powerbomb. I thought that's a cool move idea. I don't know if I would have that be a finishing move, but I mean, whatever works.
Yeah. Again, because the Young Bucks insist on every single one of their matches, and by default, every single one of the tag team matches having so many moves, they look so great in defeat because look at how much punishment it took for them to lose.
Matt Jackson must be taking the Ultimate Warrior steroids because he kicks out of goddamn everything. I mean, everything. This dude could be hit by a bus and then have a meteorite fall from the sky and land square on his jaw, and he would still kick out at 2.
Because that's how they book themselves.
Yeah. But I will say this. First of all, what were your guys' thoughts on these Ring of Honor entrances? They did them all night, and you know that it's Tony going, look at the new toy I bought.
Well, I didn't notice the one for ReDragon because, again, I have never really watched all that much ROH. But the one I'll talk about the one later on in the show when we get to it.
Well, Josh, again, you just proved my point. Because all these Ring of Honor entrances cater specifically to their bubble. And
But
not
that's
even
what Tony
their
Khan-
audience understood them. Not even their audience got it.
But the thing about it is that that's what Tony Khan does. He books to the very, very niche audience because he doesn't want to grow any bigger than he is. He is confined to being that guy with 1 million people viewing it, and that's it. He doesn't want to grow the audience beyond what it is already.
Well, that's very obvious. And this just, it didn't really get it. It didn't excite me when that happened. I did love Bobby Fish's smack talk as we got into this. Like when it first started, he was loud. He was, he was being a dick. And that's what you want to be. These two are great when they're not in a 6-man triple threat tag. Did we get a collar and elbow tie-up in this match?
Of course we didn't.
Yes, we did.
Wait, we did?
Jungle Boy and Kyle O'Reilly gave us a collar and elbow tie-up.
Weren't involved. That's why.
Yep. So I know that the surprise. We got one in here, and everything about this match was great. And then the Young Bucks tagged in.
Okay. But I have a very specific message I want to give to one of the wrestlers in this match, okay?
Oh no. Brace for impact.
Kyle Edward Greenwood, a.k.a. Kyle O'Reilly. Why did you leave NXT for this? You knew that after that Adam Cole storyline you had with him, that you were a singles guy, and maybe you would not have done anything great in WWE, but at least you would still have had an identity. Why would you do this to be a flunky for Adam Cole again?
Let me ask you this, Sky. Would he have had an identity? When NXT got completely reshaped and redone, he gets called up to the main roster and then gets put on the C shows to be toured around. He would have been Mustafa Ali. We would have gone from him being on TV and doing stupid shit like he's doing with the Young Bucks to never seeing Kyle O'Reilly ever again.
Yeah, I mean, he's in AEW. He's on a pay-per-view. If he was in WWE, he might be lucky to get on main event.
I will counter you by saying I would rather not see him than see him involved with the Young Bucks.
Yeah, I'd say we're all right on this situation. The wrestling business just isn't kind to Kyle O'Reilly at this moment. Because he needs an actual wrestling promotion. Because he's a wrestler.
Think of it from his perspective. If you're him, I mean, like, is there a better option?
No.
Control your narrative.
Oh no!
Sean, why don't you control your narrative in the corner? And you think about what you did for the last...
Sorry, I couldn't hear you, Sky. I was coughing because I was laughing at my own joke.
Why don't you control your narrative and you stand in the corner and you think about what you just did?
Well...
When is their first show going to be? Just curious.
In April or something.
Well...
Joy.
Then... what happened here is it just devolved, and legit, my eyes just glazed over. My eyes legitimately just glazed over, and I was just like, I can't focus. Because I physically cannot get through these Young Bucks matches, because when it just turns into gymnastics, I can't invest. I cannot invest. And I like Fish and O'Reilly. I like Jungle Boy, but I just can't be interested.
Wait, Control Your Narrative already had a wrestling show?
Wait, they did? Wait, what?
Yeah, they did on March 5th in Orlando.
Amazing.
Oh.
Amazing.
We need to watch that show.
No.
If it was any good.
No.
Well, the fact that it came and went and nobody said shit tells me it probably wasn't that great.
I'm curious. I need to find some shit out.
But
apparently their next show is March 31st in Dallas, Texas, because of course WrestleMania.
Well,
wait, hold on. Control Your Nutrition. What the hell is this website?
That's Control Your Nutrition.
What?
Wow.
My brother would like that website because he needs his protein synthesis.
Wait, they sell seasonings?
Yeah,
No. Listen to this. Control your beef. Control your fish. Control your chicken.
Control your
veggies.
beef.
What is happening right now?
I'm gonna stick to the Brock Lesnar blend. Thanks, though. I'm gonna stick to the Brock Lesnar blend.
Monster Energy.
I'm gonna stick to the Brock Lesnar blend that I can buy in a 4-pound, like 5-gallon bucket.
No. Do you want me to make this even better?
Please do.
Give me 1 second. I want you guys to turn your attention to our group chat, and I want you to look at this picture I'm going to post right now, okay?
I'm so scared.
For literally everybody who is not a part of that group chat, we will describe to you the photo. We are gonna, you'll see it here very shortly.
More editing for me. Editing for me.
That's right. What do we got?
Yes, but here's the thing. Look at this dumbass picture. Fucking.
Oh no.
Look at this dumbass picture of EC3.
My stupid laptop. God damn it.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
He looks like Shane from The Walking Dead. He looks like Shane from The Walking fucking Dead.
He looks like he's holding a shower cap head. Like a molten shower head. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say, folks. You be the judge. Is this stuff gonna be any good? You be the judge.
I'm tapping out.
Oh, come on. We ain't even there yet. This is match 2. Let me ask you two a question here. So, the fans all night, pretty much every match, started chanting, "This is awesome." So, if they chant "This is awesome" for every match and every match is awesome, doesn't that make it lose all its fucking meaning?
Pretty much, yeah.
You're basically asking if people are stupid.
Oh no, I'm not asking. I done knows that for a fact.
Okay, I'm just double checking.
Yeah,
because you know that everybody that's watching the show is stupid.
So then I finally just get so bored that I'm like, I'm gonna follow the philosophy of I can skip 12 minutes of any Young Bucks match in the middle somewhere and not miss anything. And I think I was still proven right, because I skipped 7 minutes to the finish and I come back to see Luchasaurus completely miss a heel kick that Nick Jackson sells still, and then we get the Jurassic Express for the win. 19 minutes of fake, predetermined, coordinated gymnastics. Hard pass.
I enjoyed it. I just thought it was too long. I guess I'm the weird one.
Well, speaking of
You're
weird,
a freak.
why don't we start
You're
reaching for brass rings?
Yeah. What Skylar said.
Yeah, let's reach for those brass rings while Sonic the Hedgehog.
Why was this third on the card?
Well,
because
dog.
Tony Khan has no idea how to structure a pay-per-view.
Dog.
That's another issue I had with this whole show. The match placement on this show was just weird.
JoshAgeddon. JoshAgeddon, look at me. JoshAgeddon.
I'm looking.
Yo.
Yes.
It's Skylar. Skylar.
God, he's
Skylar.
doing a thing. He's doing a thing.
What?
Yo. He wasn't on this show. I just never forget that.
Sean McCaster, would you stop?
I will just never forget that. That was too funny.
Sean, you should stop trying to do your damn rapper gimmick and focus on reviewing this show, please.
Yo, dog. I heard you like 6-man matches, so I got a 6-man match to go after your 6-man match. Genius.
I think Sean has actually lost it. I think he's cracked and he's going insane.
No, he's just smoked a little bit too much weed. Anyways.
Not nearly enough, Sky. Not nearly enough.
Why was he third? This should have, like...
Well, technically it's sixth.
A giant ladder match should either start a show, be in the middle, or be the end of the show. Not just third match.
Not with these participants.
It's weird placement.
Where do I start with this? It is.
Let me start with this, okay?
Go for it. Why don't you list out the participants first?
So it's the Face of the Revolution ladder match for a future AEW TNT Championship match.
What does that even mean?
Huh?
What does that even mean, Face of the Revolution?
Because you'll win a chance at the AEW TNT Championship and be the face of TNT. Anyways, Wardlow versus Christian Cage versus Keith Lee versus Orange Cassidy versus Powerhouse Will Hobbs and Ricky Starks. And the first thing I wrote on my notes is, this is gonna suck.
First thing I wrote on this match was, this match did wonders for Scorpio Sky. Remember when he won this brass ring last year and then did nothing for a year until after this show when he actually won a belt?
Sean, it's even worse than that. He won the match last year, did nothing, and then Wardlow won this match for the TNT title, and the next Wednesday, Scorpio Sky wins the TNT title.
Which they had to do, but
this is some 4D chess type shit. What?
Tony Khan's ahead of the game. He predetermines his shit.
Does he?
Yep. Well, yes. Sonic still wants to know AEW's location.
It's Orlando.
Because the reason why this pay-per-view wasn't in April.
Well,
hold on. Is Sonic the Hedgehog Jim Ross now?
I was going to say, maybe that's why Jim Ross didn't want to disclose the location, because he knew Sonic would be after that big-ass ring. And then if he took it before the match started, there'd be no gimmick.
Yeah. Okay, now I want to see Tony Schiavone wearing Sonic the Hedgehog costume.
See Excalibur have two big-ass tails on the back of his mask? Yeah.
Yeah, just have Tony Schiavone wear that Sonic the Hedgehog mask and breathing behind Jim Ross. Tell me where the ring is. Tell me where the ring is.
Sonic, please.
Away from me.
Oh, God.
Give me the ring or your barbecue sauce.
Why?
By the way, everything that we're saying is funnier than everything that Orange Cassidy did in this match. The second that he placates Keith Lee, Will Hobbs, and Wardlow, I was done.
We got to back up here first. Why would you put your three biggest dudes, pretty much, two of whom you're really trying to push, and the third is a valuable commodity you just got? Why would you put all three of these guys in a gimmick ladder match? How is that going to help any of them?
Because beef on beef on beef, hoss on hoss on hoss. Give the people what they want. No. Give the people what they want, because all they want to see is big men bumping.
Well, this was...
Again, the people are stupid.
The people are stupid. The booker is stupid. Justin Glitchbot doing from whenever and wherever is stupid. Although I will say...
More stupid than Braun stupid.
I will say, there were two moments of Orange Cassidy that I must begrudgingly admit made me laugh. The play kicks were not one of them. That made me want to snap him in half. When he rolls into the ring and just keeps rolling and keeps rolling and keeps rolling all the way out as the bell rings and just stands there, and everyone just kind of looks around like, what was that? I don't know what that did. That just tickled me. I don't know why. I hate the dude, but I don't know why. That just made me laugh. But then we did the play kicks. At least they were out of the way early. And then the rest of this ladder match was boring.
Yeah.
It just, Keith Lee jumping over two dudes was cool, but it was just boring. There was nothing interesting.
This was the most tame, timid, playing it safe ladder match I've seen since the 2012 Raw Money in the Bank ladder match that John Cena won.
I think the overriding issue is that there's no story in this match because nobody besides Wardlow had a storyline that would help them if they had won the match.
There were barely any spots in this match.
No, there were spots.
Well, not insane ladder match spots, just dumb, look at this wacky shit I can do with a ladder spots.
Well, because AEW has done so many gimmicks and done so many spots, you can't really do anything anymore.
Yeah, well, they would beg to differ. Because, you know what? We gonna do more spots. You think we're not gonna be able to do spots? Au contraire. We're gonna do every...
Again, Eddie Kingston suplexing Jericho from the apron to the floor, and that thud was more intense and just, oh my god, that was dangerous than anything in this ladder match.
Well, Chris Jericho is so fat when he hits the ground, a 4.3 earthquake happens.
Yes.
In Orlando. Nonetheless, and the ripple effect causes the Gulf of Mexico to just completely overflow and hit somewhere on the side of Mobile, Alabama, causing massive flooding. But, thoughts and prayers.
But enough of that natural disasters. Speaking of disasters, though, Orange Cassidy climbing the ladder with his hands in his pockets.
I just wish they'd stop making the hands in his pockets a thing.
No, they will continue to do so.
Because that's the only personality he's got. Is putting that in the pockets. Although there was another moment of Orange Cassidy's that made me laugh. And that was when, they did the very coordinated spot of Keith Lee and Wardlow holding on to the ladder, and Orange Cassidy went to climb up it. When they're holding it horizontally and he's going to grab for the brass ring, so they shake it a little bit and he gets to the ball spot where he hits his balls in between the ladder rungs, and as they're dropping the ladder, you can see Orange Cassidy staring the hard cam going, "No!" as it fell down. Again, I don't like the dude, but he just cracked me up in this match a couple times.
Sean, you are weak.
It was just so ridiculous.
You are falling for the joke.
No, well, trust me. He's not a wrestler. I'm not saying that he is, and I don't like any of his wrestling that he does. But he had two moments in this match, because the match like this is caters more to what Orange Cassidy does and will do, and can do, which is little. But a 6-man spot fest with some ridiculous camera angles, that's what Orange Cassidy is. This guy wrestled Chris Jericho in a Mimosa Mayhem match. So, I don't expect very much from him. The fact that he has these couple of moments, that's all I'm giving him. That's all he's got, so that's all I'm giving him.
By the way, Orange Cassidy, by the way, was the only wrestler on this entire show to actually suffer an injury.
Yeah, because Keith Lee launched him into space.
I'm sorry.
I
believe the correct term for that is yeeted.
Yeah, he yeeted him out of the ring. They were supposed to catch him, but I think Keith Lee threw him a little too far.
Yep, and he overshot it, and his shoulder got injured.
Yeah.
By the way, was it true that Danhausen was in this match?
Yes, and that was one thing that Okay. What is Danhausen, first of all?
Very nice.
What is it?
Very evil.
Because I don't get it.
He's the Joker if the Joker was not a murderer.
He's the Shrek 2 leprechauns that show up randomly and ask you for gold or give you some items or some shit. And he just comes around and then he just disappears.
Does he wrestle?
Haven't seen it yet. Hope he doesn't.
This is one of the... Okay. I'm obviously a smark. I'm huge into pro wrestling. I'm a bit of a mark. But I'm not that into it that super indie cornball shit like Danhausen makes me pop. This is where I'm like, okay, this is officially too indie for me.
He should turn into a real estate, like a realtor. And welcome to Danhausen. I'm going to sell you this house. Come over here.
And his partners are Primo and Epico. The Shining Stars and Danhausen.
Danhausen. I love that.
No, we need a skit where Danhausen tries to sell a house to Orange Cassidy.
Oh my God. This is, and then
Orange Cassidy's like, whatever.
But before Danhausen, who did nothing, by the way.
Yeah,
he literally stand up there and goes, yes, I cast spell on you and I cast spell on you. Okay, I'm out. That was it. That was literally it.
Honestly, what he did.
And again, what the hell? He's being paid so much money to do nothing.
Yep. But before this, there was a cool spot because I really liked that. I think it was Wardlow and Powerhouse Hobbs pulled the ladder apart till they showcased their strength. Right? They were both trying to go for the ladder and they end up just breaking the ladder in half. I'm like, all right, two big guys pulling off a ladder. Cool with it. And then we get this massive table spot that knocks out two big boys in this match. And nobody saw it because the tables you couldn't see. All you heard was the crash of, they went through tables. And then they very dimly lit them afterwards to be like, oh yeah, they crashed into something.
I hated that spot so much. Dude, do we have to have up the ramp brawling in a ladder match? Because the idea is they're doing that spot with the table while everyone in the ring is selling, waiting for them to get done with that spot.
Yep.
It's so contrived.
Yep.
Just like the spot you mentioned earlier where both Wardlow and Keith Lee, or whoever it was, Will Hobbs probably, had the ladder with Orange Cassidy on top of it. Just drop the ladder. Don't wait for him to skin the cat. Just drop the fucking ladder. And the weird human pyramid spot where there was three guys on top of each other. One of them tried to jump on top to grab the ring. Disperse! Don't just sit there.
Josh again.
Mm-hmm.
Bugs Bunny says no.
I hate him.
And then JR said my favorite line in this whole match, right as Wardlow was about to win, he goes, "Is this train wreck almost over?" And he said it with less enthusiasm than I just did.
Even the massive power bomb from Wardlow to whoever the other guy was, Ricky
Starks,
onto the ladder bridge. That, in theory, that's a devastating thing to do, especially since he had neck surgery. It was so gentle, though. Probably because he had neck surgery. But still, the spot was just kind of lame.
Yeah, this whole match was kind of lame.
Yeah.
I got a controversial opinion. I'm starting to come down on Keith Lee.
Oh, no.
It's not his fault that 3 weeks in they've treated him like utter garbage.
It's not even necessarily that. It's just that when we saw Keith Lee in WWE, he could wrestle, but he couldn't cut a promo, and we were like, maybe it's because WWE is not letting him cut the promos that he wants to do. He has that debut match on AEW, looks dominant, and then he's had 2 straight weeks where he's done interview segments, and they keep getting interrupted by Will Hobbs and Ricky Starks, who come in and shit-talk him, right? Keith Lee, in the very few moments that we have actually heard him, doesn't sound like a man. He sounds like a overly dramatic high school drama kid, and I hate to say it, but Keith Lee, he does everything in the ring cool, but I don't know. I'm just.
I hope that we can see better with time, but I'm not overly enthusiastic that AEW is going to be the place to showcase his strengths.
Honestly,
Agreed.
I kind of feel the same way. The way he talks, he's a smart guy, but he tries to talk and sound like he's smart, and it just doesn't work in his promos. Like the deep in thought, I'm speaking like I'm doing a science documentary. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
He doesn't sound like a wrestler. He's trying to sound like a college professor.
Okay. The brain is made up of billions and billions of neurons.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, I'll give you a reference for you kids out there. He sounds like Peter Graves from Biography.
That's a reference.
That's a deep cut. That's a deep cut reference. It's like, I'm going to fight you here on Biography. That's like his whole deal. Overall, this match, it wasn't the WWE formulaic Money in the Bank style that I've gotten so sick of, but it was basically the same level of unhelpful to anybody but Wardlow.
It was just timid, tame, boring, and nothing happening. At this point, from everything we've seen thus far, this is my least favorite thing on the show at this point.
By the way, I'll mention the Dynamite stuff that happened later because we need to get to the next match and then we'll talk about stuff. Because it involved a wrestler within this match.
Well, maybe we needed to change stuff up. Or maybe we needed to get a swerve. Yeah, kill shots here.
Sean, go back to the corner, please.
That's it. That's literally it.
We didn't mention, by the way, that Don Callis was on the pre-show.
Oh, actually, while we're talking about that, I got a note to make about this. Callis himself gets heat. Got no problem with his overly dramatic recounting of whatever he's saying. Nothing wrong with it. Totally respect it. But what the hell is Tony Schiavone supposed to do while he's still in the ring letting Don Callis talk? He literally sat there like he was a kid waiting for church to get out. He looked so bored. He looked so uninterested. I'm like, my God. This show needs some hoes. So we got the hose title. It's Jade Cargill versus Ty Conti. And, oh man. Why is -1 still happening?
Because the man's father died and we're going to milk every single little bit of sorrow and pain and suffering so we can look good. This is a PR bullshit thing.
I can't wait till Bray Wyatt joins AEW.
Brody Lee's going to turn into the next Eddie Guerrero, isn't he?
He already is.
Oh, so it's funny you mentioned Eddie Guerrero when we're talking about this match, Sean.
I know.
I could feel the blood vessels in your head thickening during this match.
I know. This, favorite part of this match was that Kingfish, that big-ass black dude who just shredding on the guitar. I was like, this guy, this is my dude. I was like, you, sir, are killing it.
And I also loved that, like, Jade was clearly dressed as Jade from Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
And Excalibur was like, she's actually Jade. She's actually from Mortal Kombat. And JR was like, yeah, I don't care.
I wanted to slap him when he said that. It's like, we know, X. Please stop.
No, it's not even necessarily that we know. It's just like, we don't care.
Yeah. It wasn't the only video game reference of the night. Trust me, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
This match starts with a big old sloppy kiss.
Oh, yeah.
It's better than a collar and elbow tie-up, but that's only because I'm thirsty.
It was a tonsil Sean, it was a tonsil and lip lock-up.
That's right.
It is at this point that I will fully admit I was jealous of Jade Cargill because Ty Conti is fine.
I was jealous of both of them.
Now that she has, like, fucking shit on her face, what was that war paint?
That was speaking of Mortal Kombat. That's because she was backstage with Reptile.
Reptile was giving her a facial.
It looked like someone smashed a spider on her forehead.
Yeah. No, it really did.
Wasn't that a finisher?
It looked like the old Nickelodeon logo, but green.
Yeah.
Then this match was just structureless. It was just two women doing moves back and forth. I hate beyond all belief Jade's ostrich kicks that she does on the ground, where she like lifts up her knees. She's like, heh heh, and it's just like you expect her to try and fly away short distances.
I didn't think it was funny when she kicked the shit out of Ty Conti's partner right into the table. That was
Anna Jay.
Anna Jay, whatever her name is, I don't really care. It was funny.
Yeah, it was just... And then this match just kept going. Who is the babyface here?
It was supposed to be Ty Conti.
Who is the heel here?
It was Jade Cargill.
Was it, though?
I mean, Jade Cargill is doing this weird-ass thing where she's that bitch and she's a heel and all that, but then she poses with the title with her daughter, so...
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of defeating the purpose.
Yeah. Did you hear Excalibur, who was in the middle of the ticket sale promo when Ty covers Jade, try to rush that promo like he was going to get every word in with 0.5 seconds?
That was one of Ty's finishing moves that she hit, and mid-cover, Excalibur goes on an ad.
Dude, he speeds. He's rushing.
It was so fucking funny.
But you could hear him put the foot on the gas. That was my favorite part. Because he's like, oh, we're going to be back in Jacksonville at Dennis Place. We're going to have the ticket sales on that one. Oh, no, he didn't get it.
That was hilarious.
I thought he was coming mid-sentence.
He very well may have been. And
well, yeah, he got to make a video game reference.
Of course. Well, then we get the flog splash. That's what I felt like this was. That's what I felt like this was. This match was beating me down into submission. The frog splash it doesn't fit Jade. It doesn't fit her moveset. It doesn't fit her style. Like, at all. And then JR, oh, just like Eddie Guerrero, huh?
Again, JR is the voice of the people, and by the people, I mean the smart people.
Hey, Sean, did you know that Eddie Guerrero did the frog splash? And did you know that Eddie Guerrero's dead? And he was a good wrestler and man at one time that did the frog splash. Did you know that?
It has been 17 motherfucking years. Let it the fuck go.
They never will. They never
will. God.
But we must pay tribute to Eddie Guerrero every single time a Mexican wrestler does a frog splash.
So Jade's Mexican now, Skylar?
Yes.
Every human being who ever has done a frog splash ever will get Michael Cole in their ears going, just like Eddie.
Except for Kevin Owens for some reason.
Yeah, because his looks good.
Yeah.
Because Kevin Owens is too white.
Yeah, I said it. And then another pile driver. 5 matches left, not a finish. Then we get a glam slam pin out of nowhere.
Honestly, you know what this? I've said this several times in our group chat. This should have been a squash.
Yes,
it was.
Have murdered Ty Conti.
It was a squash.
No, but this needed to be like a 2-minute squash.
Extended squash. It should have been 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Well, it was 7 minutes.
That's.
Too
I mean,
long.
that is
everything else on this show too long.
To Skylar's credit, that is the level. That is time-wise the equivalent of an AEW squash.
Yeah, pretty
exactly.
much.
But they did have an actual 5-minute squash on the buy-in that was leagues better than this. But this is what I don't understand. You've got Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, Dean Malenko, William Regal now, that we're going to talk about a little bit later. You've got an innumerable veterans in the back. Why is nobody telling these women how to structure a match? Why are these women not having guidance? And do not give me the Kenny Omega bullshit excuse. Because yes, his stuff is garbage, and yes, he's booking the division, but these guys are there. They know what's right. Is it just that they're just not listening? Or are they just there for the paycheck and don't give a fuck?
They are there for the paycheck, don't give a fuck, and Tony Khan is refusing to allow these women to actually properly develop.
These matches could be good. They could be. But they're not because nobody is helping these people. I honestly feel bad for this women's division. I don't feel bad for WWE's women's division because most of the wrestlers suck and have the training, right? No excuse for them. I feel bad for these women because they don't know what they're doing and nobody's there to help them out. Or no, let me rephrase that. Everybody is there to help them out, just nobody's doing it.
They just refuse to.
It's just...
Because everything they're doing is perfect and wonderful in Tony Khan's magical wonderland.
Because he's the ultimate enabler. And...
Because he cannot say no, but more importantly, he cannot admit that anything is bad.
Yeah.
Speaking of enabling, I have to enable some urine to release from my body, so I'll be right back.
Well...
So while JoshAgeddon is doing that, I do need to talk about what happened on Dynamite involving Samuel Guevara and Ty Conti. Shall I?
Go for it.
So why the hell did Scorpio Sky get a title shot? for the TNT Championship?
Tony tried to explain it. I can't remember. It was convoluted. He spent 364 days without getting pinned or whatever the fuck. I don't remember.
Did he not lose that 10-man American Top Team Inner Circle match at the last pay-per-view we watched?
Sure did.
Okay, just checking.
He didn't take the pin, though, so it doesn't count.
Whoopee. Anyways, so Scorpio Sky wrestles that match, and, Ethan Page gets involved and stuff like that. And then here comes Paige Van Zant. Do you know who that is?
Former MMA fighter, if I recall.
I'm back. Did I miss another pile driver or Eddie Guerrero name drop?
No, you missed a shitty MMA fighter that doesn't know how to wrestle. Anyways, Paige Van
Ronda
Zant.
Rousey?
No, Paige Van Zant.
Way better looking than Ronda Rousey.
Paige Van Zant, the woman that should have been Ronda Rousey but isn't because she wasn't very good. Anyways, point being is that Paige Van Zant, she gets involved, she helps Scorpio Sky win the title, and then Ty Conti tries to help out Sammy Guevara, and Paige Van Zant beats up Ty Conti, and then signs her AEW contract, quote, on Ty Conti's butt cheek.
When was the last time Tony Khan got laid? Has he ever gotten laid?
Well, he snorts cocaine out of people's asses, so I don't know.
That does not count.
That doesn't count.
Does not count. This is a genuine question. Somebody answer this for me. This is gonna be the what does Sonya Deville do of 2022? I can tell. Is Tony Khan getting any? Because there is a lot of thirsty stuff going on these programs.
Yeah.
And really, I'm not knocking being thirsty. I'm not knocking wanting a little bit. But this screams of what Vince Russo did in the Attitude Era. It really does.
What, you don't like women making out before a title match or a woman signing another contract on a woman's ass?
No, it's not. I didn't say I didn't like it. I'm just saying that this is very reminiscent of somebody who is getting out all of their sexual fantasies out in their booking, which is not the place for it. Go get laid like regular people.
69 me, Kenny.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, well, Tony was confused during the first couple of years of AEW. That's really what that is. And obviously Kenny's got his own sissy slap fight deal going on. So,
again, Tony Khan is the worst booker. He is worst booker of the year. I don't care. I don't care.
Well,
I don't care.
Uncle Dave disagrees, Skyler.
Well, Uncle Dave must also be trying to get it up because he clearly must have been thirsty after that match.
Well, maybe Dave Meltzer, maybe the problem with these guys, maybe Dave is just so obsessed with watching his Young Bucks matches and he's listening to all this commentary and thinking, man, this is really, Tony's doing something magical here, but he's not seeing the light. He's not seeing reality. And maybe he needs to just move to a different kind of reality. Maybe he needs to listen instead to something more practical than Excalibur's bullshit move game and JR not knowing what day it is and Tony Schiavone thinking it's Memorial Day. He needs real music. He needs music to his ears that doesn't involve super kicks. Wouldn't you agree, gentlemen?
We're now at 129 in the video, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to have to do so much more editing in this video than I thought I was going to have to.
And the best thing you can do while you're editing those videos, when you don't have to listen to our excruciating audio, is to get that iPod in, get that Spotify loaded up, and listen to a new era in entertainment which has arrived. AB Productions CT is proud to drag you out of the superficial monotony and overproduced, oversimplified modern musical mud pit with two industry-busting artists slowly taking the world by storm. Abizzle and White Knux deliver an avant-garde approach to music that blends elements and instruments of a wide number of musical styles, including, but not limited to, hip-hop, R&B, jazz, funk, fuck, rock, house, EDM, suck you, and so much more. It's high time for the musical industry to be shaken to its core and pay no attention to those little Easter eggs I just added in. So be a part of the foundation-breaking movement by supporting aspiring artists. And don't be afraid of what I was saying before. I was just playing about that whole suck you thing. You know, we're not going to do that. That's not our thing. You know, but we don't suck, and you don't suck, and you will suck even less when you listen to AB Productions CT. And right now, you can catch the latest release, The Wax Apocalypse, a 32-track album that took 2 years to come together. A saga of a lifetime awaits your eager ears. Look for Abizzle, spelled ABIZZLE, or White Knux, spelled WHITE space KNUX on SoundCloud, Apple Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon for this and the entire AB Productions CT discography of over 100 songs and projects, including Retreat, Mixed Bag, Verses from a College Grad, Bare Min, Recovering, The Quarantapes, and so much more. All just a short click away. The links are in the description. Come join the entertainment revolution with AB Productions CT. That's the revolution you should be on.
Fertilize those Easter eggs, Sean.
So our next match. Because it's not Easter yet, because we still got a few weeks for that. So talk to me in a little weeks. I gotta go talk to the rabbit.
Also, I love how you said the entertainment revolution.
That's right. That's the revolution you should be on.
Revolution.
That's right. But it's an entertainment
dancing involved.
That's right. But there might be some making out. But that's only
and fertilizing.
That's well. Hey. We're not promising anything. Just listen. Let's just start with listening to the music, folks. Let's just start there, you know, and then.
And speaking of music, look in my eyes. What do you see? I'm better than you because I'm Freeman.
Go stand in the corner.
Then you lost me.
Go get over there. Get in the corner. Well, actually, no. Sky, come back here. We got a good match to talk about. It's
okay. Well, we had a good match to talk about.
Speaking of that, MJF doing that just to cut away to his theme, him coming up, that killed me. I fucking died.
Well, I was wounded. Okay. Here's the thing. Hashtag bad formatting. Now, you could easily disagree with me on this, and I would completely understand why. So much so that even Jim Cornette disagrees with me on this. So, I'm not saying that I know what I'm talking about, but hear me out here. So, they play Cult of Personality, and then MJF walks out to his own music. So let me ask you this. Did they say anywhere that he paid off the production crew to play Punk's theme before his? Or the production crew also heels?
Yes.
Because
yes to both of them.
My problem here is that unless MJF is controlling the production truck, or they say, oh, he must have bribed one of the guys on the take to play Punk's music first, this is another one of those entertainment things that Vince created that Tony Khan thinks is just a part of professional wrestling, and it's not. I mean, and by the way, just doing a different entrance theme isn't mind games, okay? It's not. It's just entertainment sizzle. And that's all this was. And I understand it did get the booze, it did get the heat, I understand that. But the purist in me is like, this is more entertainment stuff. That's not wrestling. I understand why it was done, but it's like Michael Cole just saying like, oh, they're staring down, it must be mind games. It didn't do it. It just did not do it for me, and I understand it was cool for, if that's the kind of thing you like, I'm all for it, but it just didn't do it for me.
Okay, when you put it that way, I get it, and I think that what you're saying does make sense. Me personally, I just thought it was funny.
Well, hold on. It's not mind games to CM Punk, because CM Punk is not going to be thrown off by that. That's more so, we're going to mess with the fans and troll them a little bit, which MJF gimmick is basically that he is a big, rich troll.
Right.
But you can't say anything because he's better than you.
then justify that. Have somebody on commentary say, oh, well, MJF has got unlimited payroll. He must have gone out and bribed one of the production truck people. Say that then. Then I'd be fine with it.
That would require JR to have a decent memory, Tony Schiavone to, say something, and Excalibur to be actually, good.
To be a different human being. To be someone else entirely.
You're basically requesting that one of the pieces of commentary be competent, and unfortunately, none of them are.
Yeah. I know you're right. It's just, it was one of those things where it's like, it just took a little bit away from me. And then Punk's Ring of Honor entrance comes in, and hardly anybody understood it. As cool as the song was, I liked the song, but it didn't register.
I didn't get it.
It didn't register.
I didn't get it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I never really watched much ROH, but I got it.
No, that's the thing, is that I never listened to this song, so to me, I didn't get it.
And neither did the crowd.
I figured that was when I didn't recognize the song either, but I was like, that's probably his old ROH song.
And I mean, it didn't matter because Punk's so goddamn over that everybody just still started chanting CM Punk, and it didn't make a bit of difference. But it was just like, this whole entrances thing, it just didn't hit.
Okay. Now, let's skip the entrances for a second, okay? What did you guys think of the match in general before we dive into it?
May I go first?
Please.
Sure.
I loved the first half of it, and then they kind of lost me, and then the finish was okay.
Sean?
Why don't you go next?
I love this match until a certain point, and you two and the people out there know what I like and what I don't like about wrestling. You can probably guess what point I lost this match.
Well, it's probably the same time that I knew things were going downhill, because this definitely had a peak and it wasn't anywhere near the finish.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. The welts on the back were brutal. Punk's juice was intense. It was a fight. It looked like a struggle. MJF is a goddamn professional.
Yep.
2 times. The first time was when CM Punk got bloodied the first time. Did you notice he was facing away from the hard cam? So MJF, who starts striking him with the chain, realizes that Punk is facing away from the hard cam and turns him around to make sure everybody can see that Punk got the juice. Brilliant.
Because MJF knows what the hell he's doing.
He's got such awareness. It's honestly amazing, the awareness that this guy has. Although I did kind of think, was it a little too much juice too early? But
I mean,
they made up for it by Punk getting juice way later.
I'm not going to get mad at Juice.
Yeah. No, I wasn't mad at Juice. I just thought it was quick for Juice. But then they made up for it by having Punk get juice way later. So I think they made up for it. I wish they would do more with the pass out count when they're doing submissions. AEW does it, WWE does not. Where somebody's like in the middle of a sleeper and they raise the hand and it drops and they go 1, and then they raise the hand again and it drops and then they go 2, and then they raise the hand, they go, and then they pop back up and the crowd pops. They don't do that in WWE anymore.
They do it, but very seldomly.
Yeah, hardly ever.
What they do now is just I'm going to mess with your arm for a second, and if your arm doesn't move, then you're gone, and we need to end the match.
Yeah.
Which isn't as dramatic.
Yeah, no.
It feels more real, but it's not as dramatic.
Yeah. And, it's just, this whole match was just a different, it was so much more upper tier and upper class than almost everything else that was done prior to this moment. This was a grade above.
Some people who know what they're doing and taking it seriously.
Yeah.
The first half of it was, my thing was, okay, I loved everything about this match until at a point they just kept going.
Yeah.
And then the thumbtacks came out and I was like, thumbtacks do not bother me. I know that's the part that Skylar hated. Thumbtacks do not bother me. My thing is 2022. Literally the last pay-per-view AEW had, they had thumbtacks, or the one before that.
Yep.
It's not like, oh my gosh, why would you have... Well, actually, they had it in not just the pay-per-view before, but the pay-per-view before and the one before that. So the last two AEW pay-per-views had thumbtacks.
It's like the announce table spot in WWE. You got to have it at least once.
It gets old.
Yep.
It's not that, oh, that's gruesome. You shouldn't do that in wrestling. That's just too much.
Yep.
Me, it's like, I've seen this before.
Well, we're getting ahead of ourselves here a little bit. Let's backtrack for a second, because then MJF gets the juice, and this was where I thought was... I mean, he took a sweet-ass time getting the juice. I think he had a little trouble with it, because he hasn't done it very often. But MJF immediately gets up, turns around on the apron to make sure everybody sees that he's got juice. This guy has got such awareness of his surroundings. It's incredible. Then, #bad formatting. CM Punk, by the way, it's one thing to have one babyface do the 10 count punches. It's another thing for 6 babyfaces to do 10 count punches all night.
You know what? You're right.
That's ridiculous. And then this one was the worst one because the camera angle was on MJF so that Punk's faces were raining down. So if he didn't hit him immediately square on the head, it looked fake.
Yep.
Horrible camera angle for that.
It was a terrible camera angle.
Absolutely horrible camera angle for that. Then we get an apron tombstone.
Yep.
And I'm like...
Our first of 3 tombstones on the show.
I'm like, can we not do this on the apron? Can we not do anything on the apron? Like, ever?
I would have been fine with it if this was the only apron spot all night.
Yeah, but no.
If this was the only one.
Tombstone pile driver of the night.
Yeah.
No. If this was the only pile driver and the only apron spot they did all night, then this would have been perfect.
But Tony Khan has no balls, so everybody did everything that they ever wanted to do ever. And then we get the tax. And I love JR as they're about to pour the tax out, he's like, it ain't gonna be marshmallows.
Yeah.
I don't know. Jungle Boy was eating them like marshmallows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so, but I have to agree with JoshAgeddon here. I'd be fine with this if they only did tax once every 3 years.
Yeah.
You know.
But it's not professional wrestling.
It's
not.
Agree to disagree. Agree to
disagree. It is freak show torture porn.
Well, this is what I ask about this. Here's why I think tax are kind of stupid contextually. Where anywhere else other than professional wrestling do you have the need for or have the presentation therein to have a satchel of thumbtacks?
Not boxing.
Give me
not
one.
MMA. Not any other type
forget
of fighting.
sports, guy. Forget sports. Give me a practical use anywhere. Except for a fucking thumbtack factory. Give me one place that a satchel of thumbtacks is needed.
An office.
In a satchel? When have you ever seen a satchel of thumbtacks? You get them in the little plastic... I'm looking at one right now. You get them in the little plastic containers. You get about 100 of them. And they're like... They used to be $1. I don't know what they are now. But you never get them in a Crown Royal bag. That doesn't make any sense. You're right.
It's the weird velvet bag. Why does it have to be the weird velvet bag?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. It's like, there's no practical use. It's like, and this honestly got me thinking, and I'm going to give a little teaser, folks, for you Core Martial podcast listeners out there. At some point, maybe this year, I am going to, in ACPW, justify thumbtacks. I'm going to find a way to do it. I'm going to challenge myself to come up with
Yeah, but that's going to end up turning up like Alexa Bliss and the demonic gimmick that I attempted to force you to do, and you just said I couldn't do it.
But I've already got a plan, and Jim Cornette's going to be the one to do it.
You know, I also have a bit of an idea of how you could get around doing that myself. So...
Okay, so while you two are clearly going into the torture porn shit...
No, don't prejudge. You don't know what I'm going to do. You can judge Tony Khan's torture porn shit because that's fine. That's obviously Tony Khan. But you can't come with me with that. I'm saying I'm going to justify it. In this context, it was stupid.
Okay, fine, whatever.
In this context, it was just unnecessary.
Exactly. They have dog collars and chains, and you can grab any other weapon you wanted to. Why the thumbtacks?
And also, when MJF got the leash, like the dog chain wrapped around the ropes, and he had to keep getting outside the ring, back inside the ring in a circle to get it untied, that was a little funny.
That was also them struggling with the chain.
Yeah.
Which honestly added to it because that's what the point of it was, is to make it difficult to do stuff. You know, that was I have no problem with that. MJF selling
funny, but it kind of worked.
MJF selling his hand was A grade, but did you notice it makes it a lot harder to do any wrestling once tacks are on the mat?
Yeah.
Oh, easily, because you're trying to avoid that spot.
Yeah. And then MJF put him in the goddamn middle of the ring, but I know why. Because when they do this superplex, Punk landed ass first, so he didn't really get any tacks on him.
Yeah, they
so
kind of missed it.
At least I thought that was done intentionally so that it was a little safer. I'm not justifying the fact that it was there because there was no need for the tacks to be there. And then this finish. MJF screaming out to Wardlow, "Stella! Stella!"
Please tell me that was a Room reference or a Disaster Artist reference.
Correct.
Yes. Oh my God, son, I love you.
And then, they get the Wardlow comes down. He's looking for the ring. The camera angle misses him looking for the ring. Until
and then the commentators have to spell it out.
Yep. And then he's like, "Oh,
is it really Excalibur?"
Yeah. He's like, "I guess I lost it." And then MJF turns around. Punk hits the GTS. MJF takes his bump on the tacks. Okay. I get it. At least that tack bump was okay. It wasn't too over the top. It makes sense why it would happen because MJF is just selling, so I get it. I didn't hate that. But then the face turn from Wardlow when he's like, "Oh, my bad. I did have it. Here you go, Punk. I'm gonna leave." And the crowd went ballistic. We were just talking the other day how we don't see proper face turns anymore. This was one of them, and it worked like a charm.
Yes, and I 100% agree.
Then
if only there were no tacks and you cut off maybe like 5 minutes of this match.
Well, we haven't even gotten the full finish yet.
Yeah, because then Punk looks down at MJF looks up at him and spits in his face. Punk's like, "Okay," takes the ring, pow, with the big diamond ring. Down he goes, 1, 2, 3. And MJF has an out because Wardlow didn't come to help him, so he can now move on to that feud and doesn't get any on him. He doesn't get any hurt any less or more for this loss. Punk still got momentum, so he can now do something more meaningful. This is still, even with this match having its faults, this is still the best feud that AEW has ever done.
Agreed.
And it organically led to a new feud for MJF to do, while CM Punk can do something else. Because Wardlow gets the chance to cut a promo on Dynamite, and in the promo he says that MJF mistreated him, and he's had enough of it. He wants to be his own man. He is Wardlow. And he's going to do his own success regardless of what Maxwell thinks. So he's going to win the TNT Championship, which he won the number 1 contendership for in this pay-per-view.
So, and I actually think that there's a lot of direction to take that. I don't trust Tony that he won't overcomplicate it.
Oh, you know he is.
I know he's gonna. Where I'm too afraid of Vince McMahon dumbing things down to toddler levels. I'm more afraid of Tony Khan trying to, making justifications that make your head spin.
At least when they teased it like 2 years ago, this Wardlow MJF thing, they held off on it because they knew Wardlow wasn't ready yet.
Yeah, thank God.
Now he's a bit more ready.
Yeah. And MJF will probably get a lot of mileage and make Wardlow look very good going forward because they clearly have big plans for Wardlow to the fact that he could really become a major star for AEW if they play their cards right.
But I have a question for you. Wardlow was employed by MJF, not AEW, right?
Kayfabe-wise, yes.
So does Wardlow now have a contract from Tony Khan?
Don't ask these kinds of questions, Sky.
That's looking too deep into
You will
it.
not get answers.
No.
Well, get the answers I don't want to get.
It took us so long to figure out what Sonya Deville did.
I know, yeah. Yeah, for real. It took a year and a half for those of us, and then the answer we got was official.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
Also, real quick, I just want to point out something. We basically have been saying this is not a very good show for the past hour and a half. Just because, for those of you listening, because I know that there are some people that are super pro WWE and super anti WWE and super pro AEW and super anti AEW. This is honestly like what it is like to give an honest, objective opinion. We're not just trying to bury a show. We're not just trying to make our side win. We're being honest.
correct.
We give things credit. We give things props. Like they just gave this match props. And honestly, the two of them probably liked this match more than I did because I thought the CM Punk MJF match was kind of I liked the finish. I liked the first little bit, and then they kind of lost me. I thought it was These two just gave AEW props. So just saying, it is possible to have different opinions on a kind of show without turning into a raving lunatic trying to protect your tribalistic tribe.
Josh, again, you're wrong, and I hate you.
JoshAgeddon.
What?
But politics, JoshAgeddon. Politics.
That's right.
The politics. Oh, I'm sorry. AEW is the best company, and Skylar, you're wrong for liking WWE. Is that what I was supposed to say?
Well, okay, sure. And I'll respond by saying, you cuck bitch.
And speaking of bitches,
Well, wait. Hold on. We're not there yet. We're not moving on to the next match, although I was thinking about it. What does CM Punk do now?
I think he goes for the world title. He's got
Me
to.
too.
He's got to. And I mean,
Before the whole MJF thing started, he said he wanted the world title.
and considering how the fans kind of soured a little bit on Hangman at the end of that match, I think they could make something happen with that. And honestly, they need to end this Hangman title reign. They need to.
Which we will get to in a second.
Which we'll get to.
Also, there was one more interesting thing in that post pay-per-view review, or what media session or whatever it is with CM Punk. He was talking about how he doesn't have much time left and he wants to really do what he wants to do and the goals he set out for. How long do you think Punk goes?
I wouldn't be surprised if we get at least through the length of his contract, which was 3 years. I don't know if we see much beyond that. I don't think he needs to do much beyond that. Because, kind of the same thing is like you don't want to spoil the bloom on the flower the way that Edge has kind of started to spoil the bloom on the flower. Just comparatively speaking. I mean, that wasn't even necessarily his fault because he had to get into a feud with The Miz because Punk mentioned him on AEW television.
But the stuff that he's been doing with AJ is...
see, exactly my point. So I'm sure that Punk doesn't want to overstay his welcome in that respect. And it's not that people wouldn't love him regardless. It's just that he doesn't, I don't think he wants to do that. So we'll see. I think he runs through his contract, but beyond that, who knows? Now, we've got ourselves a women's title match. Dr. Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa, again, from the guy who says, no, we don't do rematches, for the AEW Women's Championship, which looks so much better.
Oh my God, the title makeover, it looks less like an egg to be fertilized.
It looks like an actual title.
Remember the first design of that title that Riho wore?
Yeah, because it was her size.
That was like a world title should not be like a centimeter in diameter.
Yeah. But
they had to make something that would fit Riho.
That's true.
But I do have to say,
centimeter in diameter.
This match kind of got the death spot.
Yeah, we knew it would.
It was...
Well, the thing is that CM Punk and MJF was the people's main event. despite what they were actually telling us, but what the actual main event was. This was the people's main event. And after the CM Punk and MJF match, the crowd was tired because we were 3 hours into the show.
Yeah. And I still believe this, and I said this to Sky a couple weeks ago on the program. That match should have main evented. Period.
Yeah.
There was nothing on this. There was no way that Adam Page and Adam Cole were going to live up to expectations that Punk and MJF would. The build wasn't there. The quality of match was not going to be there. And it was going to go about the same amount of time. So why not just put the match that people actually cared about on the main event? Nobody would have judged you for that, Tony.
Although the one thing I think is that had they had MJF and CM Punk as the main events, the crowd would have been tired and would not have given it the reaction they did.
I think they would have gotten them back into it, though. If there's any two people who would have revved people up after 4.5 hours, it'd be Punk and MJF.
Then make shorter shows, for God's sake.
Or do that. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Cut all these matches in half. That'd be nice.
That's the thing, too, is that every match on this show that was over 15 minutes could have been shaved by 5, and you could have gotten a 4-hour show, but a 3-hour main show that would have,
And we had a 7-minute match that should have gone 30 seconds.
Yeah. So, what did you think about this match, JoshAgeddon?
I'm not going to lie. I was kind of dead during this match, too. I couldn't get into it. They were just doing stuff. And I was kind of disappointed. Again, I was not super crazy about the CM Punk MJF match. Which, coming from a huge CM Punk fan and a guy who really likes MJF, that's kind of surprising to hear, I'm sure. But I just couldn't get into this match. They were just kind of doing stuff. I thought Thunder Rosa's spear to Rebel through the apron to the outside was devastating looking, but that was it. And then we had a shitty looking, contrived ass curb stomp to end the match.
You're glossing over a lot of stuff.
I fully admit that. I just could not get into this match.
Sky?
Toasted. No, I can't. I have to stay with fish.
So
sorry, hold on. I'm making dinner and there's a little bit of a miscommunication.
Okay, so while Skylar is plucking his headphones out of his rear end, I will talk about my.
No.
So you're cooking Bobby fish.
Well, I am cooking fish, so thank you. Anyways,
name one of them Bobby.
Tilapia. Anyways.
What the fuck just happened there?
Sometimes we just have the most chaotic what is happening energy.
Somebody make something out of that. Yeah, we just evolve into an AEW tag match sometimes.
Yeah.
First things first, can we give credit to Thunder Rosa for working through her injury?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because she was banged up before this show, and props to her for doing this match. Having said that, they did too much. They did way too much.
They always do too much. Everybody always does too much.
But then the match, the show at this point was, let's do every move known to man so no one else has a move they can do.
Yeah, and that was most exemplified by the main event, but weirdly, I think I'm going to say probably the more complimentary things than either of you. This wasn't bad. It just went on for twice as long as it should have.
Yep.
Had they not been in the death slot of being behind the people's main event, I think me and Joshua probably would have been more receptive to it.
That so dragged it down for me. Like, it was just like the whole time they just kept going, and I'm like, oh my God, just end this match, please.
Yeah.
Not that what you two are doing are bad. It's just I don't care.
Yeah. And then that's kind of how it went later on. Did we get a collar elbow tie up in this match?
I think we did.
We did.
I hope we did.
We did. Which puts it at 2 for 6, but I'm kind of taking 3 of those off because the ladder match obviously wasn't going to have one. Punk and MJF didn't call for it, and neither did Jericho and Kingston.
You're making excuses, Sean.
No, I'm just saying. I'm not. Yeah, JoshAgeddon, you're making excuses. Yeah.
I love AEW.
Yeah.
No. and you were gonna leave this show because you were gonna spend time with your girlfriend.
Yeah.
She didn't even give you sex.
So we had some chain wrestling. But the chain wrestling was solid. I mean, they definitely took their time at the beginning. You know, it looked like a struggle. It looked clunky in a good way for the first half of this match. Jamie Hayter grabs the hair, but the camera misses it. But the ref distraction, you know, they bundle Rosa up for the humiliation, and then the girls cheat with the ref distraction. Looked great. They was structured so much better for that first half. The rest of the women's division, watch the first 10 minutes of this match and apply that to your matches.
Oh no, you two were criticizing AEW. You made my baby upset.
Josh, again, tell your brother to shut up.
What you were saying?
That did not sound like a crying baby. That's all I'm going to say about that. But the making out was earlier in the show, Josh, again, just so you know.
Well, you have to make the baby somehow.
Then, this is where it started going downhill. They do the
match of the show.
They do the split leg knees into the air raid crash, the first air raid crash of two count. Then it just lost steam. Then we get our fifth superplex of the night. It got slow. It got sloppy. We get a top rope air raid crash, 2 count.
2 count.
Then tombstone roll up counter that still landed Britt on her head.
Yep.
Then Dr. Britt Baker hits a curb stomp onto Thunder Rosa because Jamie Hayter brought in the belt. They curb stomp Thunder Rosa on the belt. 2 count. Then Thunder Rosa spear.
Same difference.
And then Thunder Rosa rolls into the ring, and then a regular curb stomp after she's taken a belt curb stomp finishes the match.
Yeah. Okay, what bothered me wasn't so much that a normal curb stomp did it. It was that she was so painfully, just obviously crawling into position.
Yep.
If you were getting into the ring, you would not be crawling to the middle of it.
Yep.
It was so contrived.
Yeah.
It looked terrible.
6 less minutes of this match, and I would have been so happy.
But do you want to know what happened on Dynamite?
Not really.
Tell us what happened on Dynamite, Skyler.
Thunder Rosa beat Leyla Hirsch to become the #1 contender for the Women's Championship in a steel cage match.
Ooh.
I mean, weren't these the two that in the fall of last year had that big barbed wire lights out match?
Yes.
Yeah.
From Tony Khan saying, we don't do rematches in AEW. Bullshit, you don't.
Kind of sounds like they're doing a rematch.
Yeah.
The previous match, CM Punk versus MJF, was also a rematch.
Huh.
Well, the difference is...
Yeah, what difference? There's...
Now, here's my question. Do they finally take the title off of Britt Baker?
If they don't, then just... I don't... Like... They should.
Who's the person to do it if it's not Thunder Rosa?
That's my point. If not Thunder Rosa, then who?
Serena
Tony Storm.
Deeb, maybe.
Serena
Serena
Deeb's the
Deeb, you
heel,
can
not
make the
the work.
case, but
Serena Deeb the heel.
she's too busy. Well, so? Like, that's a tired old trope, Skyler. They don't give a crap about shit like that.
Again, the guy that you guys are referencing is not even here anymore.
Yeah, well, it's true, but it's no less true.
But we can still smell the placenta.
It's still
the next match.
It's still wafting in the halls.
Till the next match.
The memory of what once was.
God! How do we get the smell out of our house, Randy?
Okay, that's it. I'm tapping out.
Oh, man. Well, this match on...
I need to see a behind-the-scenes episode of Cody screaming about how to get rid of that god-awful smell.
This upcoming match, they need Stanley Steamer. This upcoming match.
Oh God,
The next 6
that is
should be
so
done.
nostalgic for me.
Oh,
Okay.
boy. You guys are going to really like this more than I did, I think. It is Jon Moxley versus Bryan Danielson. Why don't you start, Sky?
I would have liked it if it was half as long as it was, but that's entirely all AEW.
I think so would the fans have.
Again, too long. Too much. I need a cigarette after this. God damn it.
Yeah.
Most sex does not last this long, okay, man?
Well, maybe for you.
I wouldn't know. I'm a virgin.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well,
that's because you choose to be a cuck. Anyways.
I'll let you both know that, you're good enough. But anyway, that would be more
How good
pleasurable
are you,
than I got
Sean?
out of this match. This was probably my least favorite Bryan Danielson match I've ever seen.
But is it because of Bryan Danielson or
No.
because of the other guy?
No, it's not because of Bryan Danielson at all. It's mostly Papa Mox. Did
Not
we get a
gonna
collar and
lie,
elbow tie-up?
I really like this match, but we'll let Sean continue. This was my favorite match on the show.
Did we get a collar and elbow tie-up?
I can't remember.
The answer's yes.
How can you say this was your favorite match, but you don't remember if they had a collar and elbow tie-up?
Because it's been a week, Skylar. Give me a break.
Write down notes, damn it.
No.
No, I don't want to write notes. I don't want to do any
Yeah.
homework.
No.
Shut up, Young Bucks. Shut up, Matt.
And-
Shut up, Nick.
Well,
I'm
speaking
going to do a flip.
of people who should shut up. Speaking of people who should shut up. Excalibur saying Chancery brings me pain. If I never hear him say, and now a Chancery, and now a front Chancery, I want you to define Chancery Excalibur. I bet you can't. No internet. Tell me what it means. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Moxley is now Sheamus pale.
It's a shameful thing.
It really is, because he used to tan. And he used to look actually halfway decent, but now he's just so pale. And my whole takeaway from this matchup, and there's a lot more I've got written here. Jon Moxley sucks. I liked Dean Ambrose. Jon Moxley sucks. Jon Moxley, he made a Greco-Roman knuckle lock look fake. He looked like he was exerting zero effort in that Greco-Roman knuckle lock. Danielson's forcing, he's using his body, he's using his biceps, he's forcing himself, and Moxley's just standing there. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you got my hands. You got my hands, I got your hands. It's like he wasn't even trying. And yeah, he's still over, but like, it didn't work. Bryan is very physical, but he still behaves like a pro wrestling heel.
Anyways.
And then more 10 count punches, another
Just
bad
make sure
hockey
it's
fight,
Salted.
and he's just
Because some of it's been lost in the batter.
Mox needs a booker's guidance. He needs a Vince McMahon. He's one of those guys who needs someone there to tell him no. And to tell him this is how you're going to do stuff now. This is how you're going to shape things up now. The fact that he has no guidance has completely destroyed any sort of star power that he's had with me.
But the thing about it is that he doesn't want the guidance. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
Is that Jon Moxley wants to do all of his deathmatch stuff. He wants to do all his hardcore stuff. He doesn't want to be told by other people because he's that anti-authority guy. He must march to the own drum of his own beat. He must do his own thing. He must not be controlled when he really needs to be controlled.
And although this was a much better in ring, they weren't outside a whole lot, which is pretty standard for Moxley matches, that they're going to be outside for most of the match. They get the juice with just an elbow and a headbutt, which I liked. Honestly, the fact that it wasn't hard way, but it was still just physicality. But after Punk and MJF, that kind of took the shine off the diamond, didn't it?
We already had juice.
It's like,
not the same.
There would have been an actual fight in the back in the day if there were two matches that were both guys got juice. It'd be either your match is getting juice or my match is getting juice. So that this doesn't happen because it didn't. The crowd didn't react. And
is it me or does Revolution kind of need to be like WrestleMania and have 2 nights?
Every pay-per-view AEW does needs 2 nights.
We just said the same thing, Sean. We've been doing this for too long.
It's ridiculous just how long this is. And if they're going to have an epic like this, have it be the only one on the show. You know, and the crowd was really dead for this match. They were exhausted. And they weren't really able to ever capture them at all. I was more interested in the guy with the LWO shirt that he wasn't even wearing than this.
Really? You really love the Latino World Order that much?
Well, we already mentioned Eddie Guerrero, and he was the founder of it, so might as well just hit that nostalgia wave one last time, put it in my veins.
John, next John Moxley match, he's going to pull out a frog splash. You see what you've done.
Yeah, well, better there than anywhere else, I guess. Has Bryan Danielson's running knee been established as just a signature here? Has he beaten anybody with it?
I think he beat like one person, but that's when he was going on that stretch of, I'm going to beat different people with so many different moves. It's like I have a bunch of different finishers. Because I do remember him actually pinning someone with the Busaiku knee.
Which, by the way, Excalibur had no idea how to pronounce that.
It's the Boomaye! I mean, the Bryan...
It's the Kinshasa!
Damn. So I just wasn't sure because, like, obviously it was just a signature and he got a 2 count. And then this RKO finish out of nowhere. Not that it was an RKO, but it was just out of nowhere.
This finish sucked.
Danielson's got a sleeper. He's got the dragon sleeper, right? That's what he was doing. And Moxley just turns up. 1, 2, 3. Quick roll up. And I don't hate
what I hated was his legs got in the ropes, and right there the referee should have said, nope, out of bounds. But that was the finish, so they had to.
Who was the referee?
If it was Rick Knux, then...
No. It was, not Paul Turner. It was the one right after that. I can't remember his name. He's bald, but he's not Rick Knux bald. I can't remember his name.
Not many mortals are Rick Knux bald.
Well... Rick Knux isn't mortal. He's clearly a zombie. So, it's... And then, the best part about this match was afterwards. Realistically, it was just when finally William Regal came out and bitch-slapped both of them and said, I done taught you better than that.
I loved it when he went face-to-face with Moxley and got his blood all over him, even though he's wearing a suit. That's just because Regal's a badass.
Regal didn't care. Regal does not care.
A real man.
He is a real man.
He is.
And then, he forces them to shake hands, and after that, I loved the after this match, but this match was slow, it was boring, Danielson did everything he could, but Moxley is just not good. He's just not good anymore. And I'm honestly just done with him. There's been nothing on AEW programming involving Jon Moxley, except for when he walked out at Double or Nothing. The first time. Everything that I've seen Jon Moxley do up to this point, I have either disliked or been apathetic about. And I'm just done with him. There's nothing about him that interests me. If this is the best match he's going to have, then that really just goes to describe it. I mean, I want to believe that Regal's going to shape this up, but like, I'm not enthusiastic about Jon Moxley anymore. At all.
I guess I'm just weird because, again, this was my favorite match on the show. I think it might be because I still like both of these guys. And in my eyes, they just can't do that much wrong, I guess. Plus, this was extremely physical. And I really enjoyed watching them beat the shit out of each other. But I don't know. I just liked it.
Are you not enthusiastic about Moxley-Bryanson team?
I'm not going to lie. I don't really care. I just enjoyed watching them beat the fuck out of each other.
If this had been the only match on the show with blood, or if Punk and MJF weren't on this show, I would have liked this a lot more.
That is true. I was like, man, why do they have to do 2 juice spots on one show?
Yeah. It was a little much. And again, I like the fact that they didn't use any weapons for it in this match. A different way to get juice. Fine. I understand that. However,
once again, Tony Khan can't tell people no.
Just like all the moves that we saw all night, nobody's telling people only one person gets the juice. Only you get the destroyer. Only you get the superplex. Only you get only you can prevent forest fires. It's seriously, somebody needs to sit there and tell this group of people that if someone later on is doing a move you want to do, you are not doing that move. There needs to be respect for moves, because that is the number one biggest complaint I have with AEW. I wouldn't even mind Tony Khan's garbage booking if they respected moves more. But they don't, so I don't.
As clearly shown in the next match.
Yeah, well, do we have anything else to say about Moxley and Danielson?
I'm the weird one because I liked it.
Sky?
Next match.
Oh, alrighty then. We got 2 left, folks.
I'm done. I'm done with Moxley. Same as you. I'm just done with him.
Yeah. Well, speaking of things I'm done with, why any of this? Why any of this? It is Jeff. I almost said Jeff. It's Matt Hardy, Isaiah Cassidy, and Andrade El Idolo gives a shit against Sting, Darby Allin, and Sammy Guevara. And there was one good thing about this entire match.
That Andrade's fucking jacked.
No, I didn't really give a shit about that.
I like that he's like a freaking muscular box man. I like that.
Okay, shut up, Charlotte.
Well,
it'd
be nice to put him in a box and ship him to somewhere that isn't on television.
Racist.
Darby's blood. How? Please elaborate for me.
So you're gonna shove a Mexican into a box and ship him somewhere?
Would it be any more racist if I put a white guy in a box and shipped him somewhere? I'll put Moxley in that same damn box. We'll send him out somewhere. We'll put him out in the Pacific Ocean. Go wrestle in the Cayman Islands. So I don't have to watch
they can control their narrative there.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Well, you know I'm kidding about the racist.
Yeah, no, of course. Of course. So the best part about this match was Darby's intro package. Because
no, it wasn't.
Even though everything else in this match didn't make any sense, this at least was kind of funny. Because there's
a funeral procession or whatever, and then all of a sudden Darby Allin's car just comes flying out of frame, smashing through stuff.
Yeah. That was fun. You thought the racist joke was bad. You thought the racist joke was bad. Here comes Darby Allin in a white Bronco crashing into a bus. And he opens the door, and then he goes to do a coffin drop on this random-ass schlub who misses catching him.
Yeah.
And then Sting shows up with a goddamn flamethrower. Says run, and then just sets everything on fire. It made no sense. It was so confusing. I just didn't understand a lick of it, but they must spend some money on this production. It just cracked me up. And then Darby comes out, he gets a pop, and then nothing else mattered.
I hated this match. This was my least favorite thing on the entire show.
There was too much action to call or care about.
My complaint is every single AEW show, there is a meaningless, mindless 6-man or multi-man garbage tag match where they brawl in the crowd for 3 years and then do something in the ring for the win. A few crazy table spots that weren't even that interesting to look at. And I'm just like, this is copy and paste what I see on every AEW pay-per-view. I'm just done with it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, Sammy Guevara doing a freaking Spanish fly off the set through 2 tables, one of which he missed, by the way, or just didn't break. that would have been impressive if that was like the only thing like that on the show or the past several shows. But you see stuff like this all the time, and it just doesn't matter.
Yep. Because there's no respect for moves.
I'm starting to join you on that. Because this match was why I was really like, this is the same thing I see every time I watch the show.
Yeah. How is it that Sting, out of the 9 people involved in this, was the best looking? He's 62, for God's sakes.
Because he did the least amount of stuff.
Well, you say that, Sky.
And then he tried to kill himself.
But then, oh no, let's, before we get to that, they bring Sting up top there, and he just swats Matt Hardy down. Andrade decides that he's just a little tired, so he goes to take a nap on the table. For no reason, he literally just walks over there. He's like, all right, I'm going to just like pop a squat here. Go ahead, Sting. And then there comes Sting. And he crashes down. Everyone's like, oh my God, Tony, you're going to kill this fucking guy. You need to stop while you're ahead putting him into this stupid BS. Because what's going to happen if somebody dies in the middle of your ring because they're too old to be doing this kind of stuff? And I know Sting's in great shape. I know that Sting takes care of himself. But dear God, do you not care about the risks? Oh, if Sting dies in your program, your shows get canceled. Period. There's no more AEW after that. You got to understand. Once the networks find out somebody's dying in your ring, that's a problem. That's
and speaking of that, very quickly, we're going to do a News of the Week segment. We have an actual musical theme.
Anyway, continue.
So we're recording this, by the way, on the March 11th. And on March 11th, there was an incident that happened at SmackDown.
Was it Sting got killed?
No. There was a tag match between Big E and Kofi Kingston versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland. And Ridge Holland hit a belly-to-belly suplex on Big E, and Big E landed directly on his head. And apparently he couldn't move, so they had to stretcher him out.
Oh,
Jesus.
No.
Jesus. Well, maybe this Ridge Holland guy just isn't meant for wrestling. He gets his nose completely destroyed off his face, and now he cripples Big E.
That sucks.
It does suck. And obviously I wish Big E the best. I hope he's okay, because we don't, we know very little at this point, but this is what I'm talking about. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Yes, there are freak accidents like that. At least that was probably a freak accident. Sting is 62, and he's taking a table spot through 3 tables, cross-butting somebody 10, 15 feet in the air. Justify that.
I'm not. And that's the thing, is that we're talking about Big E, and what happened was a freak accident because he didn't rotate enough on a belly-to-belly suplex. These guys in AEW take very much worse bumps and worse risk. And it is lucky that the only person that got injured on this show was Orange Cassidy.
Well, they're gonna run into problems later. I guarantee you, their luck ain't gonna last forever. They keep pulling this kind of stuff, especially because, like you said, JoshAgeddon, it happens every show. All of them, it happens every show. When's it going to be? It's not a matter of if at this point. It's a matter of when and who.
We're lucky it wasn't Sting, 60 years old, jumping off a freaking balcony through a table.
Yeah.
But someone is going to die if they keep doing these things. Like, it would not take much for a Shibata headbutt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, remember, it wasn't too long ago that Rey Fenix almost ripped his arm in half.
Yep. Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago that Ricky Starks almost broke his neck.
Well, he did break his neck.
He did.
He didn't break it any worse.
Yeah. It's just, this is the kind of thing, and Tony, because Tony can't say no, because he doesn't know how to. And it's going to hurt him financially, business-wise. I mean, I know his pockets are bottomless, but at some point, You got to have some respect for your wrestlers, man. And the way you book is not respectful to your wrestlers. And there was no point to this match. Did this accomplish anything?
No, not at all. Not at all.
No, if you listen to Dynamite, something did happen.
Skylar, tell me what happened on Dynamite!
Okay, so anyways, Matt Hardy got angry at Andrade El Idolo for losing the match. Andrade was like, you're not pulling your weight, you're not doing good enough. So Andrade, Isaiah Cassidy, and Mark Quinn start beating up Matt Hardy, and who comes to the ring to save him?
It's me, Jeff.
Nero,
Yep.
I knew you'd come for me.
Yes, it was Brother Nero.
And I like
God
that Jeff
damn it.
was posing on the ramp as Matt was getting the crap kicked out of him.
Yep.
He had to get his dance in before he made the save.
That's right.
Yep.
That's
That was
right.
funny.
But then they reunite and they looked happy and it's a nice moment. And speaking of nice moments,
you know that Young Bucks Hardy's match is coming up soon enough.
you know I've actually seen the Hardys and the Bucks wrestle each other already.
How was it?
It was exactly what you'd expect.
And now how's it going to be with the Hardys being 10 years older?
Jeff turned into Willow. That's how long ago it was.
Oh, yeah, it was Impact.
Although, I do have to say, Willow was over for a time. And I did enjoy it, even though it was albeit brief. But anyway, let's move on to this main event so we can mercifully end this show.
No, there is no mercy on this show.
It's Adam Page versus Adam Cole, and fuck the fans.
Fuck these fans.
I'm going to let you guys talk about this first.
Clap, 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 clap.
I wanted to strangle and slap and murder every single person in the audience.
But Josh,
We
again,
get
it's
it!
funny.
They're both named Adam. It's not fun. That is a lie, Skylar.
Well,
But
you
you don't understand it. You don't appreciate it. You're a WWE mark, aren't you?
yeah, I agree with both of you. This was my least favorite match on the show. Honestly. Because at this point, all of these other 6-man matches, I just don't care. I'm apathetic. But I thought, okay, this has potential to be good. Even if the build has been bad, and even if Adam Cole looks like a 10-year-old child, this has the potential to be good. At least there was a time when Adam Cole knew how to work. This match was 25 and a half minutes long on a 4.5 hour long pay-per-view up to this point. You couldn't get these fans invested if you paid them.
We
don't know. Maybe Tony Khan does pay the fans.
I enjoyed this match, but again, it went too long. Not every match on this show needs to go 3 times longer than it should.
And yeah.
Oh, God.
And Adam Cole comes out with the Master Chief outfit that his mommy bought for him. And honestly, a big part of my problem was that compared to the big names on this show, these two are a pretty steep downgrade.
You know what this should have been for? This should have been for the TNT Championship.
Correct. And
I just didn't feel it.
then JR said cowboy shiznit.
By the way, why the hell would a cowboy, I'm putting that in quotation marks for a reason, wear pink?
Rainbow tassels do not scream world's champion was the very next thing I wrote down.
Rainbow tassels do not scream cowboy.
Yeah.
But then it's already been established that Paige is not a cowboy at all.
Yeah. Did we get a collar and elbow tie-up in this match?
Who cares?
Did we get a collar and elbow tie-up in this match?
Possibly.
Yes, we did. The final count was 4 for 9 or 4.5 out of 12. So,
Wow.
a third of the way there. They took way too much time on the outside. Then this was just moves. Then Josh, again, you brought something to my attention about the commentary. Do you want to break that down?
Oh my god, I wanted to, after I'm done strangling everyone in the audience, I want to fucking hang Excalibur from the scaffoldings. Okay, so Hangman Page does a power bomb. He does a Liger bomb on Adam Cole. It's all good, all hunky-dory. Except Excalibur says, wow, a Liger bomb. And JR makes the mistake. Poor JR, his soul was not ready for this. This poor man. He said, what's the difference between a Liger bomb and a power bomb? Every other normal human being on the planet that has ever seen one wrestling match would just say this. With a Liger bomb, you sit down with it. With a regular power bomb, just do a power bomb. Excalibur over here says, the Liger bomb utilizes the seated technique.
First developed by Kako Kiko-chan in 1964 at the Tokyo Dome.
What?
And JR just cracked me up. Because after Excalibur gets through spewing this load of garbage, he's just like, oh, good lord. And it was too funny.
I wish that I was in the building with a gun so I could end this man.
And JR just shitting on everything gives me life, but I really do think he just needs to stop for his own health. Because he was like, now folks, you're not going to see anybody, you're not going to see a lot of holds. You're not going to see anybody, targeting a body part or anything like that goes along with a wrestling match. This is going to be a fight. Basically, JR saying, yeah, these guys have no structure to this and don't expect structure, and I don't expect structure, and why did I take this paycheck?
Why?
Because I missed that mortgage payment.
Why couldn't you just say, a Liger bomb, you sit out with it?
Because
why
he had to
does
try
Excalibur have
sophisticated.
to big brain galaxy everything? Oh my god!
Because he had to sound sophisticated.
He wears a stupid mask!
And?
Booker of the Year hired the commentator of the year. And now we have to live with it.
How much do you think Dave Meltzer gets? Okay, anyways. How much do you think Dave Meltzer gets to do these reviews and have to give his awards out to AEW people?
He likes to claim that he's not on the payroll, but we all know he's on the payroll. We all know he's on the payroll. There's no way he's not.
How could you give this man commentator of the year?
You can't, or you shouldn't.
Because what are the other options?
I would
Pat
give
McAfee.
Michael Cole before this guy at this
Well,
point.
Pat McAfee.
But Pat McAfee is a color. He's not a play-by-play guy.
No, it's commentator. Pat McAfee finished 5th in that ranking.
Yeah, but he's in WWE. So that's wrong, Sky. You're wrong. I hate you.
Yeah, you WWE mark.
So
Fuck me. Fuck me. God.
This is how you know we've been in the middle of a
politics, JoshAgeddon.
This is how you know we're in the middle of a 2.5 going on 3-hour podcast, because we're just getting downright silly here. So we do a Deadeye through the table.
You're skipping a lot.
Well, we do the first Deadeye, which they made completely irrelevant. Then we get the This Is Adam chants. Fans?
You know what? I changed my mind. Fuck this match.
Fans?
I'm done.
You're not clever, you're marks, and you're not a part of the show. Remember that.
Thank
But they are a part of the show because the audience is what makes up the show.
No.
Yeah, because everybody who's wrestling should be in the audience instead of wrestling. And
the audience should also be put in a box and shipped to the Cayman Islands along with Andrade and Moxley.
yeah, AEW would
They
be a
should
lot
go
more
to the
palatable.
UFC Fight Island.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Shane McMahon, and welcome to Cayman Island Underground.
Oh, no!
It'd be better than what the hell they're doing with Bachelor's Paradise.
Yeah. Well, Adam Page got some actual chance, and then we get another tombstone.
Yep.
And then this match just turned into let's do each other's finishers, let's do all the big heavy moves known to man, and let's kick out of all of them, but never sell for any of them because selling is for nerds.
And I got what they were trying to go for with, he hit him with the freaking, with the boom, the knee strike, but he kicked out, and they're like, it's because he didn't take the knee pad down. Like, then don't wear the freaking knee pads then.
That's not counting the 2 on their knees spots they did, where they're trading blows on their knees, which they certainly blow on their knees all right. We got a hockey fight, another hockey fight on their knees. I love Adam Page's deadlift German. I just wish that we didn't see it at every match he does. Same thing with his moonsault. This was
this better than Charlotte's.
I have a perfect description of the AEW match style. And it involves Thanksgiving. Because AEW's matches are like Thanksgiving. It's all stuffing, there's no gravy, and there's a fuck ton of turkeys.
Gobble, gobble.
Gobble, gobble, quack, quack, shucky, ducky, destroyer on the apron, low bro, Panama Sunrise.
Matt Cardona has entered the chat.
And then...
I thought Riddle was going to come in here and say, bro.
Yeah. Well...
Vince Russo, what's up?
Yeah. We had half a match left when we got the destroyer on the apron, by the way. Then we get the low bro. I did it again. I did... I can't speak. Low blow.
What the show's doing to us, Sean. It's bringing us to a new low.
My brain is fried. Sunrise again. Last shot. Kick out. Adam Cole ruined his entire moveset in this match.
You know, it would have, worked if everyone hadn't already kicked out of every move conceivable earlier in the previous 3 hours of the show.
Yep. And then more tables.
Yep.
How? You always need wood.
So, well, I don't even have a joke. I'm so fried.
We want tables, clap, clap, clap.
Yeah. And then...
We want Adam, clap, clap, clap.
Did they actually say that?
In the audience now.
No, thankfully. That was the only one they didn't do. But these two, given the amount they did the dead on the table, these two should have broken necks. They have killed any move that could possibly be done onto somebody's head like it was some sort of threat. You used to get a pile driver and you'd be off of TV for months. Now we get 10 of them on the same 5-hour period. And professional wrestling is so much better than it used to be. We've grown so much, it's evolved. Just get with the times, people. Suck my dick. The babyface... Then... The Dark Order comes, and the babyface gets the man advantage.
Nope.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, they did. There was 9 of them.
Riley and Bobby Fish were out there first.
Yeah, and then 15 Dark Order people showed up.
Because apparently 15 Dark Order people is equal to 2 of Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish.
Yeah, but if you're the babyface, why do you have more people than the guy who's the heel who needs to cheat to win? You are backwards. And then this, honestly, it almost felt like the most unintentional stumbled upon double turn in history. Because the people started chanting for Adam Cole and they stopped caring about Adam Page. By the end of this match. This match was ass. Finally, we get a last shot and a buckshot and a last shot and a buckshot and a pin. I didn't care. I was too pissed. They did every move. They basically should have shattered each other's necks and gotten hospitalized, and instead they didn't. This match went 25 minutes, 20 minutes too long, given if this was what they were going to do. This match just sucked. To quote JoshAgeddon from the Royal Rumble, this match sucked.
Yeah, well, I didn't hate it as much as you did. It's just, at this point, how could you care about anything they're doing after everything you had seen up to this point? But yeah, put the world title belt on CM Punk, please.
Hold on. We are not done yet. It's been 2.5 hours, Skyler. Because what happened on Dynamite?
I don't care about Dynamite. I don't care.
Well, too bad. You're going to get what you get on Dynamite. So Paige wanted to be a fighting champion after defeating Adam Cole, so he wrestled number 2 ranked Dante Martin. And he beat him. It was a whatever match.
Why is Dante Martin ranked number 2?
I don't know.
What?
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 How?
Who did he beat? John Cena? And we just didn't see it?
Anyways, so Paige puts over Martin as a star worthy of a rematch down the line in the future. Here comes Adam Cole to claim that Hangman won a fluky victory at the pay-per-view and challenges him to a 6-man tag with himself and Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish versus Paige and 2 members of the Dark Order.
Yay.
By the way, during the backstage segment, the Young Bucks didn't want to be involved in the Paige match, and Cole was like, "Good, I'm not wanting you guys there either." So we're gonna see the dissension between Adam Cole and the Young Bucks. Am I right, folks?
Oh, I hope nobody steals their chocolatey milk.
By the way, Adam Cole was announced as being undefeated before entering this match, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Except for...
He lost to Orange Cassidy, but because it was an unsanctioned match, it's not official on his record. I don't care. He still lost.
Yeah, nobody gives a fuck about the records, Tony. I'm sorry. Nobody cares.
The fact that CM Punk has lost 1 match in AEW and Dante Martin is number 2?
That's... Tony Khan.
What?
Tony Khan, you are so stupid.
If Dante Martin was in the top 20, I'd be offended. I would be offended so badly.
You know what? At this point, make Dante Martin champion. I don't care. Give him every belt. Give it.
Why is it that CM Punk is not ranked at all?
Because he probably doesn't want to be associated with that bullshit. Realistically, he probably doesn't want anything to do with that. He's like, you know what? Why don't you just let me have feuds and why don't you let me run me? Okay?
Tony, just get rid of the rankings,
You,
please.
you promised a sports-based presentation, and just because you have win and loss records, that doesn't mean you've got it. And that's the only thing that you're clinging to as if it's a sports-based presentation. Do yourself a favor. Just get rid of it. Just book angles.
Please.
Just be done with it. Nobody cares.
Now, hold on. Let's discuss this in another fight. So let's get rid of Adam Cole, because I think all of us agree that we hate Adam Cole at this point, right?
I don't agree with that, but this was not the best.
I'm losing favor with Adam Cole. He hasn't completely turned me away yet.
He hasn't John Moxley'd him yet.
Well, he's gonna at some point. Well, let's
Probably.
continue for a second, shall we? Did you know that in preparation for this show, I went back and listened to some of our reviews for previous AEW shows, right?
Yes.
I went back to an episode that we did the review for All In last year in the summer, right? Now, Sean, do you want to know something that you asked me at the time?
Should go for it, because I don't remember.
So at the time, Kenny Omega was the world champion, and you asked me, who should be the person to take the title off of Kenny Omega? And I said, Bryan Danielson. He's just debuted, but he's going to do so much if he gets the title. Put it on him and let him wrestle the matches that you need to have a world champion wrestle.
Would have been nice.
And hold on. And I said, at the time, the ship had sailed on Adam Page because the story they were telling with him and Kenny Omega sucked. They didn't make Adam Page sympathetic. They didn't make him likable. They just made him a sad drunk. Since then, the sad drunk has won the world title and has done fuck all with it. He had 2 great matches with Bryan Danielson, but Bryan Danielson can get a great match out of almost anybody at this point, as has been proven with the Jon Moxley match. It was Jon Moxley's best match in AEW, and it's not because of Jon Moxley. It's because of Bryan Danielson. But instead, we get this bullshit Texas hardcore match with Adam Heyman Page and Lance Archer. Did either of you watch it?
Nope.
No interest.
Let me tell you, it sucked, okay? And then we get this bullshit match with Adam Cole. I don't care how over the Adams are. Neither of them look like world champions. Neither of them talk like world champions. Neither of them fight like world champions. They fight like spot monkeys. You are going to continue this feud, aren't you? Because you're going to have more Page and more Cole, right? Right?
Do you remember? I think it might have been that same review, but it might have also been Full Gear, where I said to you, Sky, that Adam Page is only good when he's got someone in the ring with him good with him.
You said it at the All-In show, and you said that in order for Page to get better, he needed to be with guys who could elevate him, who were of a higher star quality, who could get him to that point where he can carry as a world champion.
Now,
Bryan Danielson was a good step,
yep,
but everything afterwards has been ass.
Adam Cole could have been that guy when Cole originally debuted if he hadn't joined the Bucks. He could have done that. You could have had this Cole thing happen on those television and then have Page and Danielson on this show. That would have worked. But instead, we got what we got. And now...
Like if you had reversed it and done the hour-long Broadway on pay-per-view?
Yeah. I mean, or done the one after that. You know, the second match they had. You know,
right, the judges match.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You know, you could have done something like that. I just think that more marketably speaking, that's a much more valuable main event and a much better use of Danielson than him and Moxley. And it's a much more viable, acceptable way to get Adam Page to feel a little more legitimate, even if you took the title off him and gave it to Danielson. But they did it backwards.
But
because
Tony Khan planned this from the beginning of AEW, that Adam Page would defeat Kenny Omega for the world title, not anticipating that Adam Page would not be ready for it.
And that he'd be totally lapped in star power by at least two people in the time that
That's what happens when you grab up everyone that leaves WWE. You're going to get
But
people
JoshAgeddon, AEW... No, JoshAgeddon, AEW does long-term storytelling, and this is long-term booking, and WWE doesn't do that, so fuck WWE, because Tony Khan thinks about this stuff in ways that you can't imagine.
If all of that was true, then Adam Page would be over as champion, and we wouldn't be sitting here saying, just put the belt on CM Punk or Bryan Danielson or literally anyone else.
No, not literally anybody else. There are only 3 people that you can put the world title on that would actually make it worth it. Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, MJF.
Yeah, MJF.
No one else is worth it.
You know what? Honestly,
MJF needs to be the next world champion because he's the only one that can do it and take it off of Page. Honestly, MJF should beat Page for the title, and CM Punk should beat MJF for the title.
But MJF is going to be feuding with Wardlow. So it can't be MJF because he's going to be feuding with him.
I don't care.
Honestly,
double champion. Make MJF a double champion. Fuck it.
I mean, it'd have legs. I mean, with MJF and Page, you could at least argue that they were the 2 original homegrown talent, 2 of the 4 pillows of AEW. And, you know...
By the way, I the more than Tony Khan, I hate AEW fans. I hate all of you.
I have more of a disdain for Tony Khan than I do for AEW fans. AEW fans are just ignorant.
What about me?
Yo, you're ignorant, but you're ignorant in a different way.
At least you are acknowledging that there are problems with AEW. And It's kind of sad that we need an alternative to the alternative of WWE.
Yeah, we need to control our narrative, as it were.
I knew that was coming. I knew that joke was coming. Well, before
again.
Folks,
hopefully we can terminus this shit.
Yeah, well, I'd like to terminate this podcast. So before we get 3 hours into this show, let's do these ratings. Let's start with Skylar.
5 hours of this goddamn show, and I hated it. Except for maybe like 2 or 3 matches, and even then they ruined them. I can't justify this show. It's just, again, AEW, you suck so much. You know what? I can't do this. I can't watch AEW and take them seriously, and all the bullshit. As bad as I hate WWE, I'll never hate them as much as I hate AEW. 2 out of 10.
Maybe we need to just skip Revolution specifically.
I hate all AEW shows. Because it's stupid. They are promising. They have talent, and they can tell stories, and then they do too much, and they go too long. Can one wrestling company give me 3 hours of entertainment? That's it.
No.
That's all.
No. You were genuinely asking for too much, Sky. You gotta write it. If you want it, you gotta write it. That's why we have our fantasy booking. So somewhere you can actually listen to it.
By the way, we're doing our fantasy booking. I'm gonna book better than this show.
That's right.
Believe me.
That's right. Yeah, you wait for ACPW and NWL next week. Oh boy, it's gonna be a ransackly-tackly good time. JoshAgeddon, your rating.
Well, for one, also we have the first SCCG pay-per-view coming up, which is going to be a whole hell of a lot better than Revolution.
For sure.
When I first watched this, I thought it was kind of dull and kind of tedious. But the more I've thought about this pay-per-view, the more I'm like, this just was not a good show. When I first watched it, I was like, okay, this is about 6 out of 10. And that's being generous. Then a couple of days passed, and I'm like, no. I liked one match. Everything else was just kind of eh. Even the CM Punk MJF match was just kind of eh to me personally. So then I went down to like a 5 out of 10. And then we started reviewing the show, and I'm like, God, they didn't really do anything of note on this show except, I will say they gave Eddie Kingston a win that he needed. They are getting Wardlow over as a babyface, which is good. There were some good things here, and I feel like I'm taking Sean's position of there's so much filler, but there's a good show buried in here somewhere. You just have to find it.
Yeah.
It's a treasure hunt. And again, like I said earlier, I'm the AEW fan of the group, but I'm just saying, I'm being honest. I don't want to dislike the show. I don't want to give this show the grade I'm going to give it. But again, I'm not just going to sit here and say everything's great just because I like the show. I'm not going to lie. I like AEW more than I like WWE. WWE sucks so hard. The card for this WrestleMania is the worst WrestleMania card I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not going to sit here and say everything that AEW does is amazing, because it's not. Because I would be lying. And I at least like to think, I want to at least keep my integrity. The guy that was playing baby crying noises earlier and was making fertilization jokes earlier. I want to keep my integrity.
Naturally.
I'm giving this show a Bret Hart certified 4 out of 10. This show was just, it was not the worst show that they've ever done.
No,
I
I would agree. It's not the worst show they did. That was last year's Revolution.
I liked last year's
I know
Revolution
you did.
more than this one.
I know you did.
The weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing.
Just for you folks who may have, because we've gotten a lot of new listeners between last year's Revolution and this year's Revolution. We broke 200. We were at like 40 at that point. So things have really changed in a major way for Court Martial Podcast. So a lot of you probably weren't around for that AEW Revolution review. I couldn't grade it because it was so astronomically bad. So bad to the point that Skylar and I swore off reviewing the shows. And before you get excited, Sky, no, we are watching Double or Nothing. Sorry. But we're still doing it.
I'll only watch for CM Punk. As long as CM Punk is in AEW, I will watch. But the second he is gone...
And Danielson. Come on. You'll watch a Danielson match.
And MJF. MJF.
MJF doesn't do it enough for me. It has to be either Punk or Danielson.
Here's my thing. First of all, I'll take MJF any day so long as he's not paired with somebody stupid. You know,
for like 100 months, like Chris Jericho.
Yeah, like Chris Jericho. And for God's sakes, do not put this man near Orange Cassidy. For God's sakes, Tony.
You know what's gonna happen.
Tony, look at me. Tony, I need your eyes. No, focus on me. No, don't look around the ring. Don't look around at all the other media people. Look at me. Look directly at me. Do not put these people in the same ring at the same time. Do not do it. Now, that being said, there were good things on this show, but it's so damn long. And until this group, and again, my biggest critique, it's not Tony Khan's garbage booking. It's not even the finishes. It's the lack of respect for moves. And this show doesn't need all this filler. You could cut down on 2/3 of the moves and have a 3-hour show that is actually downright watchable. You could do this. You just don't because you have no balls, Tony Khan. And until you come to some sort of reckoning with this, there's going to be so much unnecessary bullshit that's repeated all the time. The multi-man matches. There's no excuse for 6-man matches. 4 of them on this show. No excuse for that. And the matches I was hyped for disappointed. That was the biggest issue. We're not going backwards here, right? Because this is what AEW is. We know that this is what AEW is. Skylar, like you said, this was an AEW pay-per-view. We know what it's about. We know that this is their identity. We're not going backwards, but we're sputtering the wheels here. And the fact that Hook and QT, a 5-minute match to get Hook over, was the best piece of business on the show on the buy-in, says a lot about your company. And now you're going to book Ring of Honor? Now you're going to take not 4 shows, but 5 shows. And you're going to put that on your plate and then expect anything to come out any good when you have no balls to tell anybody yay or nay on anything. So very clearly, this is very apparent to me that either Tony's going to need to get a booker because he's going to be spreading himself too thin, or eventually everybody's going to get burnt out, or someone's going to get really seriously hurt, and it's going to make news. And it's going to make real news. And that's something to be concerned about. And I'm going to be ridiculously generous here. Ridiculously generous here. On the idea, on the premise that if you focus solely on the redeeming qualities, because there are some hit by accident, some didn't. You could gather good parts of this show and craft it into something really good. Where with WWE, like the Royal Rumble, there was nothing to get out of that. There was nothing you could mine that was quality out of that show. Right? That's what I'm saying. That's the difference here for me. You can find stuff that's good in AEW, but it takes some digging. And for that, I'm being incredibly generous when I say this. I'm also giving it a certified Bret Hart 4 out of 10. But
do you want to know what happened on Dynamite?
No.
Tell me
We're
what
done.
happened on Dynamite, Scott!
We're done. No, I don't care. Put it on next week's show. Save it for the news. We're 3 hours into the podcast. This is it. I'm tapping out. I'm the one who hasn't done it yet. I am tapping out. This podcast is over. And that's all I got to say about that. And that's the bottom line till Stone Cold says so at WrestleMania. So, folks.
Fuck that.
Folks, we're out of here. Say goodbye to the nice man, kids.
Good night, everyone. Hopefully the next AEW show will be better. Like I was described. Pray for us.
And NWL, SCCG, ACPW coming to you next week.
Yeah, come listen to real wrestling. Come listen to proper wrestling.
Also, real quick before we sign off, March 30th, I'm actually going to a live AEW Dynamite. So I'm excited about that.
So then you'll be the one telling us what happened at Dynamite.
That's right.
Yes, I'll tell you what's happening on Dynamite, Scott.
We'll have a JoshAgeddon news segment, but that's down the line, so stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for actual wrestling with ACPW, NWO, and SCCG. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for staying for this long-ass haul of a podcast, and we'll be right back right after this.